Isizandla ngamagosa aphangela kunye nathi.
Sinazo ne-interpreters kweli cala lingase right maziphakamise nazo.
Also on the right hand side we are having our interpreters. Let them also raise their hands.
Sinayo ne-security staff yethu mayiphakamise iwavishe.
We also have our security staff. Raise your hands and wave.
Media and communication also naye makawavishe.
We also have the media communication people. Also raise your hands.
You can see uba siliqela noko livayo.
You can see that we are a reasonable group of individuals.
Size apha ke kuni kule ngingqi.
We have came here to you in this area of yours.
Amanye amalungu ekomiti setshilo isizathu soba sibe silapha.
The other members of committee has already mentioned the reason as to why we are here.
Sizele i-Children's Amendment Bill.
We are here for the Children's Amendment Bill.
Emiqulu eniyiphetheyo apho kuni.
And it is those documents you are having in front of you.
Esithembayo umuntu ukhululekile kule nhlangano athethe nasipina ulwimi comfortable lilo.
And we are hoping every person present here feels free this morning to communicate through any language of your choice.
Into ke esifuna uba siqaphelane nayo yimigomo nemigaqo kufuneka silandele today.
The things that we would like you to take cognizance of is the procedure and the steps that we are supposed to follow.
Bendithembisile uba sizawuzama ulileqa ixesha eliye lachithakala i-hour yonke.
I have already promised we will try and recover the wasted time of about an hour.
So yiloo nto ke ndingazongena nzulu ndidadele enzulwini yebill lena.
That is why I will not go in deep into the issue of outlining any issues concerning the bill.
Kodwa ixesha elinintsi silinike nina nibeke ezenu izimvo ngokuthi nithabathe enicinga makuphume kwibill ngokuthi niphinde nongeze enicinga into bakusalele kwibill.
That is why I'll grant most of the time to you as individuals to raise issues of concern that you feel should also have been included in the bill.
Nili province yesithoba esisese sigqibezela ngokuhamba sizama ukunxibelelana noluntu about le bill.
You are now the 9th province that we have visited, trying to communicate with the citizens concerning the bill.
Yes, and also consulting about this bill. Ithi ke lonto xa niyi province yokugqibela noko sesihambe umgama omninzi ngaphambili esesinamava on how also to handle ezinye zezinto ezinxulumene nale bill.
That means we have already traveled a long road raising issues concerning or around the bill.
Siyavuya ke into banizamile nani ukuba nizomamela ba uthini umcimbi wale bill.
We are also happy that you have also taken time out of your own to come and raise issues concerning the bill.
Njengoba sesitshilo basawunika nina sizawuthatha indoba inoba njengoba besihleli apha le hour sifundile lemiqulu siphetheyo and also sinezinto esiziphetheyo esicinga intoba sifuneka siziraise ngokwalapha.
Hoping as you are seated here having copies of the bill in your hands, you all have issues in the bill that you want to raise, issues of concern that you think should be addressed.
abanye ke kukhona abashukushukumayo shame ngoku and inoba bathathe nje lamaphepha bafika bahlala apha babuka kaloku bethunani siyakhumbulana kule nto ale.
Others amongst you are here as you are shaking. You have just taken also these documents of bill. They are in favor, and you are here to address, and at the same time it's also an occasion that we are looking and seeing each other.
Kodwa what ekumele sikhumbuzane ngayo i2 hours in a venue for a meeting ayifanelanga ngidlule sivalele ne app.
But we should also consider that meetings in this day, there is a stipulated number of people that should be, and this number should at all times not be exceeded.
Not only the number, but also the time.
It is not only the number, it is also the time. Ngokanjalo ikwa lixesha hayi kuphela manani.
All right. Ibill ke inayo into ethetha ngemiqathango yokukhuliswa komntwana.
If there are any issues,
In the clause, there is also a clause or section that talks about the parental responsibility.
ukuba ikhona nendima apha kusikhona indawo ethetha ngendima yomzali.
Okhulisa komntwana umzali.
The parent being responsible, catering or seeing for the proper upbringing of the child.
Cha apho inomdla khona ke ngoku kukuba iyayichaphazela into ba ootata banelungelo lokuba babakhulisa abantwana babo nokuba batshatile nokuba abatshatanga nokuba badivorcile nokuba bakwi-separation kodwa kufuneka benalo ilungelo bakhulise abantwana babo.
A matter of concern is that also fathers do also have a right to play a part in the upbringing of their children, whether they are married or not married. They also have that part to play.
Eyona ke ndiye ndinqonqosise le ikhokelela kwinto ye children trafficking, le ye child marriages, le ilapho kulomqulu.
That is what I stress always. That is leading towards offenses like child trafficking.
Kule bill ku section 12 siyacela into kokuba njengoba sisihlomelo sifakiwe masithi xa singabazali sincedisane nento ba singenze umntwana azibone seganwa okanye setshatwa engekafikeleli kwixesha le maturity nokokuba azimele.
Section 12 of the bill, it is a duty on us as parents to foresee that our children or child should not get married before a certain stage of age.
Iyaphinda le bill ichaphazele naba bantwana simane siphisa ngabo bathi bawugqiba singawenzi imiyalelo nemiqathango efanelekileyo yoba.
Bill also provides or mentions about children that we give away and do not comply or do our responsibility that we are supposed to play over our children.
Iyayichaphazela ke ne-ECD ezi sithi thina zi-preschool xa sizibiza indlela ekumele ba ziqhubekeka ngayo so that zizokwazi ufundwa yi-Department of
It also mentions the ECD companies, how they are supposed to operate in order so that the government should also play a part on the ECD.
Kukho ke nomba we Child Protection Register esingayiqhelanga kakhulu ukuba ibe yinto esihoyayo nokuyihoya.
There's also the child protection that we always do not consider that it is a fact that we always need to comply with or respect.
Hey bethu andiqondi banditsho ingathi ndithi kufuneka le Child Protection Register simonitorishe
The
as
child
communities.
protection rate should also be monitored by ourselves.
Because kaloku yona yiyo le iba phaa kwamantyi ibe phaa nase-police stations apho xa umntana evula ikheyisi ivele inyamalale kufuneka thina sibe responsible ukuyithekisha uba laa kheyisi kazibani yayivulwe ngobani okanye ukheyisi number so and so iphelele phi into yakhe.
Because that's what create difficulties, that cases being laid at the police station. And that is why we are supposed to also foresee that what had happened to the case of a certain individual, because we don't see anything concerning it.
Foster care orders nayo ziyakhankanywa zisihlupha kakhulu thina apha ekuhlaleni.
Sihlupha kakhulu.
I-foster care orders ziyasihlupha thina bantu ekuhlaleni kuba asikwazi ukulandela imiqathango yazo.
Foster care orders also creates problems to us on our residence where we are staying, because we are not in a position or we cannot follow this correctly.
We can follow them, but we don't follow them.
Siyakwazi ukuzilandela kodwa asizilandeli.
Exactly. Uthetha yona ke ngoku. Now ithi ke ngoku le foster care grant simele ba siyayifumana for abantwana singakwazi ngelinye ixesha ukuyifumana siyiphose.
That would create difficulties, that foster grants that we are supposed to receive for our children, we would not receive at proper time.
Kukhona le mba ke kule bill where cities thina zi drop off centers okanye amaziko abantu abadala okanye bathi zi-partial centers.
There are also drop-off centers in the bill or elderly people issues that we refer to.
Nazo ke zinemiqathango ekufuneka abantu bayilandele to register them.
These do also have conditions which should be followed by the people.
Exactly. Kukho ke ngoku ne-adoption services ekhankanywayo kwakule mqulu uphetheyo.
There is also the adoption service that is also mentioned in the documents that you are having in front of you.
Esile committee sicelayo into ba abantu bayenze into ekuthiwa yi-adoption or fostering umntana.
As this committee, we ask people should do adoptions or fostering of children.
Kwezi centers sithetha ngazo singentla sithi zimele uba ziyafundwa yi-Department of Social Development. Kuyafuneka siziphi ithuba siyi-community and visit oza centers sijonge abantwana ekunyanzelekayo into yoba noko sikhe sibathathe sibakhuphe kweza center sibabonise i-environment, outside environment.
These centers that we say are supposed to be financed by the social development, we are also supposed to every now and then visit these centers to see if they do comply with what is required out of them.
Bethuna bendisitsho na ndithi masikhe sihambe leza centers so that sibe able to adopt the kids that are there in those centers.
We must visit these centers so that we should be able to adopt the kids that are at these centers.
Yonke ke lento siyithethayo iyafuna intsebenziswano yethu siluluntu kunye no municipality.
All that we have mentioned, do expect a good working relationship to exist between us, the community, and
the good working relation. We should create the good working relationship between the communities and the municipalities.
Kufuneka kudalwe intsebenziswana elungileyo okanye efanelekileyo phakathi kwabantu nomasipala.
Ngoba kaloku ngelinye ixesha ufuna isite, ngelinye ixesha ufuna amanzi, ufuna itoilet, infrastructure kwamasipala, kodwa uba ayibikho la ntsebenziswano umasipala. That's why ufuneka uyazile i-role yakamasipala.
At times you would need services to be rendered like water and toiletry by the municipality. That is why there should be that good relationship that exists between the communities and the municipality.
Iphela kuloo ndawo ke xa ndinishwankathelela ukwenzela uba ningashukumi kakhulu bekukhona nistadishayo noko ndinithi nje vandla noko ke ngoku abantu bayayibona uba inoba ithetha ntoni bazawutsho nabo bakhumbule ezinye abanye abantu bebethunywe ziisekta zabo bazomela zona bazobeka ngaphambili lelo thuba ke ngoku esizalinika.
I have now summarized more or less each and everything that is in front of you, as some of you might have been referred here to or sent by your sectors, and then you would be in a position to attend to this.
Masibone ke izandla ziphakama for abantu abafuna uzokwenza i-presentation zabo okanye input. Kodwa mandini wonishe ngelithi sikunika nje imizuzwana engadlulanga esihlanweni.
We should now raise our hands, all people that wish to address the issue, but be properly informed or advised that each and every person, individual, is given at least 5 minutes time to you.
Ulo 5 minutes kukwakho netoliki unowuqonda ke uba ithini lonto uhlulela netoliki kwakule 5 minutes.
Even in that 5 minutes of yours that you are going to contribute, also consider there is also an interpreter involved, therefore share the 5 minutes with the interpreter.
Ukuba uyabona intoba i-presentation yakho kanye submission yakho inde kakhulu, you are free ukuyoyingenisa kula tafile.
If you are of the opinion that your submission or what you are going to say is of such a length and you are free that you can then submit your written submissions to the table there in front.
Ukuba uyabona umcimbi ofuna ukuthetha okanye ufuna usherisha nathi ubucayi awungethethi emayikhini ngawo sensitive kakhulu ungathatha lanto okanye uphakame wena uyosherisha namagosa pha.
If what you wish to say is of such a sensitive nature that you cannot express yourself here, feel free to go over to the members there and address it there by them.
Ngoku ke silindi izandla abantu, you are welcome Fathers for Justice. Sine colleague yethu apha esihla sinyuka nayo Kawevishe Fathers for Justice from KZN.
Sinelungu
Just wave.
lethu elisuka eKZN lo tata.
Oh na baya ngemva. Oh
baya nabanye ngemva.
okay, thank you very much. Oko behamba nathi ukusuka eKZN uyoqina eFree State
They had
lapha
been-
ngoku eWestern Cape.
Traveling with us from KZN to the Free State, here they are now with us in the Western.
Gauteng also. They are from Gauteng even.
Nabase Gauteng bakhona.
Asuka ayingoba seGauteng abase KZN bahamba yonke le ndawo.
Those from Gauteng are also present.
Masicele ke utata ingathi ungowokuqala uphakamisa sicela tata uze apha bonke ke ngoku abantu abaphakamisileyo
The father that had raised his hand can come forward and all others can come nearer.
umuntu ufika azi introduce ubungubani usuka phi athi awugqiba asixelele uba uyayisupporta ibill okanye uyayikhaba ibill.
A person will introduce himself to us and that
Chopa
person
tata, chopa
will
pa.
tell us if he is supporting the bill
Chola
or
up
if he
estirate.
rejects the bill.
Tata chopha kwezi zitulo zilapha phakathi izi orange.
You have a seat here in the
Can
chairs.
I see number 2 or number 3? Can I see number 4? You can go. Uze nawe iyani nani bethu nani
You
hambani.
can come, you can
Uze.
come sit in the row, all those who wish to sit.
There are the chairs pha ngemva. I-rules ke zithi uke ndayilayita i-mic tato. Uke yalayita le mic, it means ukwi-injury time, ne? Ukuba uduvuma ukuyeka ndiyathetha ke ngoku emayikhini ndiphazamise. Siyavana? Uke yalayita liphelile ixesha lakho. Inkosi. Mas. Ayi bayeva ba.
The rules indicate that if I, as the chairperson, switch on my mic, it means that your time has exceeded and you need to stop talking.
Masiya ke tata.
Let's go.
Mandibulele members of the committee,
Let me thank the members of the committee
ndibulele community as well.
and appreciate the community as well.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Parliament to give us this platform, just to express our views.
Mandithathe eli thuba ndibulele iParliament ngokusinika ithuba lokuba nathi ke sihlomle.
I'm Monwabisi Hasmin, the Walking Bus Area Coordinator from Makaza in Kayelistha.
Igama lam nguMonwabisi, ndiyi-coordinator
Walking Bus
Ye-walking-
project.
ye-walking bus project eMakhaza apha eKhayelitsha.
My community facilitator is Mr. Raymond Sizani.
Umntu oququzelela i-community yethu ngu-Mr. Sizani.
Yes. Okay, I would just what will happen to those who haven't completed their matric who haven't completed their matric are depending on this grant for their daily living, hence they are from poor background.
Yintoni ezakwenzeka kwabantu abengekagqibi izifundo zabo zamabanga aphantsi bafikelele kwi-matric? Ithi into aba bantu baxhomekeke kwi-grant.
Ndinomtshana wam ona 18 years old.
I have a nephew who is 8 years old.
Ushiywe ngabazali bobabini.
He has lost both his parents.
Ndim umuntu okhoyo ophangelayo.
I am the only one who is working.
I'm not working on a permanent basis. I'm the volunteer on this project.
Andiphangeli umsebenzi osisigxina. Ndiyavolontiya ngexesha lam kule project ndikuyo.
As I'm talking with you right now, on the 15th, my contract is going to be expired.
Njengokuba ndithetha nani ngoku, nge-15 yale nyanga, i-contract yam endinayo iyaphela.
Yintoni endiza kuyenza ukwenza lo mtshana wam kuze kubekho into endinoyibeka etafileni ukuba atye.
At this point in time, I am asking myself, what am I going to do about my nephew so that he has a meal at the end of the day?
Thank you.
Enkosi kakhulu.
All right, before you leave, sorry for that. Can I see whether, do we have social workers from Department of Social Development?
Bendicela ubuza uba bakhona na onontlalontle abakhoyo abasuka kwi-Department ye-Social Development.
Okay, now, Baya, you must please take notes of these things that are gonna be raised, you know?
Besicela nibhale phansi yonke into ethethwayo apha.
Okay. Ndiyabulisa apha emva kwemini.
I am greeting the members of the Portfolio Committee.
Iinkokheli
I'm sorry. The other thing that I have forgotten is to request you to take away your mask when you speak through the mic, and then when you are done, you put back your mic.
Thank you, ma'am. Mandibulise ngalemva kwemini ku-parliamentarians zethu igesi ebalulekileyo kakhulu.
I would like to greet all the parliamentarians here today and including the community members who are present here today.
Igama lam mna ndinguboniswa ngumxhakaza isename.
My name is Boniswa Mxhakaza.
Ndiphuma eKhanyisa Education Center.
I'm coming from-
Chairperson weKhayelitsha ECD Forum.
I am coming from Andivas.
Ndisuka eKhanyisa Education, my own creche. Then chairperson weKhayelitsha ECD Forum.
I'm an ECD practitioner. I own my own ECD center. I am also the chairperson of the ECD
Kayelistha ECD Forum.
Khayelitsha ECD Forum.
Thank you. And just nje into encinci mna endizanayo.
I just have a small thing that
One
I'd
or
like
two.
to communicate to the
Just
members.
nje umama uthethe kamnandi ngendawo bana mama sisebenzisane no city.
The chairperson of the portfolio committee spoke very well about us working together with the city of Cape Town.
Thina apha nesi apha eKhayelitsha thina sine problem andizawuthi eKhayelitsha okanye but I don't think iKhayelitsha yodwa.
Here in
If singa
Kayelitsha-
assistwa kunantsika xa sisenza sisi renew certificate ne or mhlawumbe umuntu eapply for ukumana abe registered, you have must bana wenze la building plan.
Here-
There's a lot of delay phayana eyenzekayo. Siluza otishara abaqualified ngenxa yobana akho pay.
Here in Kayelitsha, we have a problem. I don't think the problem is unique to Kayelitsha. We have an issue of certificates that expire, and it appears that there is a backlog of renewing the certificates for the ECD centers.
Because of inansika le building plan ku city process department zakhona ibuyiswe back iphinde kuthiwe right bayilungise bayibuyise back. I think unyaka ngokuyaphela ngoku.
There seems to be a bureaucratic problem between the city and the provincial department that creates this backlog. I think a year is going to expire now, trying to renew my certificate.
I think that also it affects abantwana noba ku department ka building plan ke yenza ntoni but eyabantwana indawo my prioritize because si rely ku social development asinike into ye nutrition in order to help us to feed abantwana, to assist us also to pay the teachers. But if now bazakwenza lanto bathi hayi kube khona baka 2014 abangakabikho registered, that is totally unfair.
I think that this is a very serious issue because in everything that is done among government departments, we ought to prioritize the children. So if it means that our certificates take time to be renewed, the children are the ones who are suffering because they attend our ECD centers and they are the ones, and we rely on the Department of Social Development to assist us with funds in order to be able to continue providing the care and support for the children in the communities.
So I thank you on that. Secondly, the second question. Secondly, I thank you that I hear that you busithi ne you won't disclose. Busithi mosine abantu wabangotata banalo ilungelo lokusupporta no matter umuntu unomnye unkosikazi mhlawumbe
Thank you.
undidivorcile.
Chair, you have said this very correctly in your remarks, that a father has a right to his child whether he is married to the mother or whether he is divorced from the mother.
Yeah, so ndiyabulela kuyiva londawo leyo but ndinabantwana osebese university she never supported the but unamnye umfazi ayeka injalo Eastern Cape abantwana bahlala nampo but fortunately uThixo wanipha amandla nabakhulisa nabafundisi and some young. Thank you
So
for
I am grateful, Chairperson, for your remarks when you spoke about the rights of fathers, that they have a responsibility whether they are married or not. I also have children that I have raised by myself with no support from the father because he's married to someone else. But I'm grateful to God that I was able to raise my children on my own. They are old now and I think I've done a successful job. I thank you.
Thank you.
Kaloku izaba ngumthetho ngoku ibingengomthetho ngaphambili oba mababe responsible.
Mawuqine ke.
Okay, now it's going to be the law. It was not the law before.
Mawungaqini nje ithi uyasupporta okanye uyawisupport ibill yonke ke ngoku not nje le ndawo katata ifuneke ekhulisa umntana.
Okay. Now it was not the law before, now it is the law. So it's going to be
And they
enforcing this
support.
law. So you have to tell us whether you support the law or not.
Enkosi.
The bill. Thank you.
Ndiyakubona uyithanda gqithi le ndawo.
Enkosi, thank you very much. I can see you really like this bill.
Okay, before utata lo besuka pho uyasupporta okanye iyayichasa ibill.
Before you come, please tell us, the speaker before, do you support the bill?
100% I support it.
Okay.
Ndiyayixhasa.
Mamela ke for ixesha lizasishiya. I-social worker irresponsible ukucacisela abantu how to go about into ye foster care grant. Ikhona mos up
Because time is not on our side, is there any social worker from the Department of Social Development who can come and explain to the speaker about
ikhona i-social
foster care?
worker to assist utata lo ubuza utya ntoni.
Is there a
umntana.
social worker to assist?
Ndicela tata uphume no social worker noba niphuma ngapha noba niphuma phi ke niye phaa endaweni uzichaze kakuhle uba usuka phi kwathini yonke laa nto bacebise uba uzawukwenza njani ngomntana. Enkosi. Over to you, sir.
Good morning.
Molweni,
Thank you for the opportunity to participate. It's much appreciated.
enkosi ngethuba lokuba nam ndikwazi uba lapha namhlanje ndithathe inxaxheba.
My name is Lombard Stein. I'm a member of Fathers for Justice.
Igama lam sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Lombard Stein.
Okay, igama lam Lombard Stein, ndililungu le Fathers for Justice.
In June 2013, I was separated from my wife. My son was 4 months old at the time.
Ngonyaka kaJune 2013 ndahlukana nomfazi wam, unyana wam wayenaminyaka emine ngelo xesha.
We lived together in the same house, separated for 18 months.
Sasihlala kunye, sahlukana inyanga ezi-18.
During this 18-month period, I had a traumatic experience just to prove that I'm worthy of having equal parental rights.
Ngeli xesha sasihlukene nomfazi wam, ndandihlukumezeke kakhulu ngento yokokubana kwakufuneka mna ndizikhandle ndizame ubonakalisa uba ndingutata ofuna uthatha inxaxheba empilweni yomntana wakhe.
And I am worthy of looking after my son living with me on a 50-50 basis.
Ndiphinde ndizibonakalise ukubana mna ndiyakwazi ukuhlala nomntana wam, sikwazi ukubana sinikane umntana amatyeli alinganayo.
This came at a massive financial cost involving making debt of hundreds of thousands of rands.
Lento yenza ukubana nditshone ematyaleni ngenxa yokokubana kwakufuneka ndizibonakalisile kangangoko ukuba ndiyakwazi ukugada umntana wam nam.
As well as causing major emotional trauma for all involved.
Napho ndahlukumezeka kakhulu emphefumlweni ngeli xesha.
There was no reason at all in the end
Kwakungekho sizathu sayo yonke lento.
why this could not have been a 50-50 guardianship, access and maintenance plan right from the beginning.
Sasingekho isizathu sokokubana singakwazi unikana umntana amatyeli alinganayo kwasekuqaleni.
Again today, I'm busy separating from my current partner.
Namhlanje ndiyakwahlukana nomnye umlingani wam endinaye.
We are unmarried and have a 3-year-old daughter.
Asitshatanga, sinomntana oneminyaka emithathu.
As soon as I started participating in the mediation process,
Ndithenda uqala uhamba intethathethwano emalunga nomntana,
I was presented with a parenting plan
ndanikwa iplani yokuba singayenza kanjani uba sikhulise umntana wethu sobabini.
with guardianship and access plan unfairly favoring the mother.
Yabe le plani ibeka umama, inika umama amalungelo angaphezu kwawam.
This has caused another long and painful process
Yenye lena indlela endihambayo ebuhlungu
to try and balance out the rights and access for both parents and the child involved.
ndizama ukuba ndifumane amalungelo emntaneni wam.
The mother was influenced by a mediator that was a divorce lawyer for decades.
Sorry, can you repeat?
The mother was influenced by a mediator that was a divorce lawyer for decades.
Umlingani wam ongumama womntana wam ndibona ukubana wafumana ingcebiso kwimediator ngaphambili eyayisebenza eyayiligqwetha elalisebenza nabantu abaqhawula imitshato.
Today we are still going through a very traumatic process.
Namhlanje sisahamba indlela ebuhlungu endihlukumezayo emphefumlweni.
Trying to complete the mediation process with the view to ensure a 50-50 outcome at all levels.
Sisathethisana malunga nokufumana umntana ngamatyeli alinganayo.
I would like to see the definition of contact under Chapter 1, Section 1 of the amendments.
Ndibawela ubona kwezi zihlomelo zalomthetho ingcaciso ecacileyo malunga nokufumaneka komntwana.
Changed to include a scenario where 50-50 access rights and residency
Itshintshe apho kuzothiwa ngokucacileyo abazali bobabini banelungelo lokufumana umntana ngamatyeli alinganayo.
is the default starting position in any discussion.
Funeka kuqalwe apho xa kuxoxwa malunga nokufumana umntwana.
no rights and access should be taken away by default.
Akufunekanga kubekho umuntu oxuthelwa amalungelo wakhe emntaneni
If there is no reason to do so,
kube kungekho sizathu sokwenza njalo.
especially if both parents are willing, capable and responsible parents.
Lento igxininisa ukuba kangangoko abantu bebonakala uba bobabini bayakwazi ukugada umntana ngendlela ekufanelekileyo.
The default assumption should be that both parents are willing and capable and responsible parents.
Bekumele ukuba xa kuthethwa ngalento kucace kwasekuqaleni ukuba aba bazali bobabini bayakwazi ukugada lo mntwana ngokulinganayo.
Then lastly also, I would like to see section 7, best interest of the child standard.
Ndicela ubona kwisihlomelo sesi-7 apho kuthethwa ngendlela umntana azawuphila ngayo nento efanelekileyo emntaneni.
Include that upon separation Include that upon separation
Igxininise ukuba xa abazali behlukana
that a 50-50 custody arrangement must come into automatic effect by default.
lento ithethe ukuba xa abantu behlukana ngalamzuzu bahlukana ngawo umntana bamfumane ngamatyeli alinganayo ngokulinganayo.
So I support this process, but I do not support all the amendments currently on the table.
Ndiyawuxhasa umthetho oyilayo wabantwana
Thank you.
kodwa andixhasi yonke into ebhalwe
Thank you
apha.
very much.
Thank
Next
you.
one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Enkosi kakhulu.
Yazi babhalelwe ngubo. Kubo bhuti kubo ngena mntakwethu ixesha limkile. Abantwana bayatshisana emakhaya.
Molweni, enkosi
Molo.
kakhulu.
Good morning, thank you very much.
Igama lam. Excuse. Molweni,
Good morning.
ndiyabulela ngelithuba.
I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Igama lam ndinguNimrod Gula.
My name is Nimrod.
Gula.
My name is Nimrod Gula.
Ndineminyaka 29.
I'm 29 years old.
Ndinabantwana abathathu.
I have 3 children.
Intombazana una 7 years.
The girl is 7 years old.
Inkwenkwe ina 4 years old.
The boy is 4 years old.
Phinde ndibe nentombi ina 6 months ngoku.
The last born girl is 6 months old.
Abantwana babini bokuqala banomama wabo.
These first 2 children have their own mother.
Lo wogqibela umntana unomama wabo ndihlala nomama wabo.
The last born has their own mother and I live with that mother.
Andishadanga nomama wabo.
I am not married with their mother.
Kwabantwana babini between 2014 and 2018 kwakunzima.
With the first 2 children, the years between 2014 and 2018 were very difficult.
Ndandingakwazi nobabona abantwana nothetha nabo.
I couldn't see the children, I couldn't talk to the children.
Ndandibabona xa kuthande umama wabo.
I would only see them when the mother felt like it was okay for me to see them.
Ngo-2018 ndaqala ukuya ngoku ndiyofuna uncedo kwi-Family Advocate Office.
In 2018, I started to seek help from the family advocate.
Azange yamele ntweni loo nto ke.
I never received any positive results from that.
Ndaphela ke ngoku ndiqesha igqwetha.
I ended up hiring a lawyer.
Igqwetha ke ngoku landincedisa ke ngoku for i-finish application yangona ihambelayo into yona.
The lawyer helped me to fill an application and that's when I started seeing progress.
Kwahamba ke xesha safaka kwi-mediation.
Time went by and we went through a mediation process.
Ngenhlahla ke into enzekayo kula mediation izinto zahamba kakuhle.
Luckily in the mediation process, things went well.
Ndaphela ndifumana 50-50 co-parenting between mama nomama womntana.
I ended up getting a 50-50 co-parenting arrangement plan between myself and the mother of the children.
Ndadleka ke ngokwemali.
I suffered a lot financially
Kuba babe kuthiwa i-Family Advocate Office yayincedile iququzelele into le ngaphandle kuba ndibe nendleko.
because if the offices of the family advocate were efficient, I would not have suffered so much financial loss.
Akwabikho ngxaki ke ndixelela ngoku abantwana bam ndihlala nabo iviki neviki babe kumamabo kulenye iviki babe kum.
I'm telling you now that I've been successful and my children spend time with me and we alternate with the mother on a 50-50 basis.
Ndiyayixhasa le bill ngohlobo ime ngalo.
I support the bill as it stands,
Kodwa zikhona indawo ke ezingandonwabisiyo ke.
but there are some sections that I'm not happy about.
Mna ke into endiyicingayo yile yoba abazali funeka balingane.
I think that parents are meant to be equal.
Kungabikho umzali ozoba phezulu kunomnye.
Don't think any parent should be greater than the other parent. All parents must be viewed as equal parents.
Kuba ke lo mthetho mos ungabantwana into ebalulekileyo kubeka umntana phambili ukogqitha abazali.
This bill is about children, in the interest of the children, and what is important is for the children to be centered in all of these discussions.
Umna ke indawo enzobeka kuzo kakhulu section 19 no20 no21.
Okay, the parts that I would like, the amendments that I would like to speak about are the amendments section 19, section 20, and section 21.
Phaya into ezekayo abazali bohluliwe pha.
What is happening in those provisions is that the parents are divided.
Kukho umama,
There is a mother,
kukho utata.
there is a father.
Otata ke bona baphinde bohlulwe bona kuqala.
The fathers are also divided.
Kukho utata otshatileyo, utata ongatshatanga.
There's a married father, there's an unmarried father.
Umna ngokubona kwami mna otata ngebe ngohlulwa kolahlobo.
The way I see it, fathers should not be divided in that manner.
Utata bengtata noba utshatile noba akatshatanga.
A father must be a father, whether he's married or not.
Kwaye ke amalungelo alingane without uye court, without uthini, automatically for shared care, contact, access, guardianship, including the maintenance ke.
So the rights must be equal even without undergoing a court process. Everything must be shared equally among the parents. Everything that the parents do must be equally shared, whether it has to do with access, maintenance, etc., etc.
Yeah, and ke ngoku nje basinga abantu abamnyama kukho nezinto ezesixhosa ke ngoku nedibene nenhlawulo phakathi.
As we are black people, there are also some cultural aspects that include processes of intlawulo, which is a process that happens where if you impregnate a child, if you impregnate a woman from another family and you are not married to her, you are expected to undergo a process called intlawulo to make amends for the fact that you impregnated someone whom you are not married to.
Anizungena kakhulu ke nithethe ke into edibene nenhlawulo ngoba izasibeka ecaleni kakhulu.
I don't want to get into the details of intlawulo.
Kodwa ndiyibona ke mna ke singohlulwa kakhulu noba sibamnyama noba singabebala sinawo amalungelo emntaneni kungabikho lezo qualifications eziya zoba umntana abe nolungelo umuntu ongutata noba utshatile noba akatshatanga.
Because I believe that all children should be equal and all parents should be equal irrespective of their cultural background or their race, because these issues of intlawulo also create a situation where fathers are not viewed as equal parents.
Ake anzuba mde kakhulu ngenxa ixesha nabanye bafuna bathethe ndiyabulela ngolithuba eli.
I'm not going to be long because others also need an opportunity to speak. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Enkosi ngethuba lokuba ndithethe.
Firstly, I would like to offer my apologies to the committee that I cannot stay for the full duration of this hearing.
Bendicela uqala ngoxolisa apha kwikomiti kuba andizukwazi uhlala ukude iphele le nhlangano sidibene ngayo namhlanje.
I work for the city of Cape Town,
Ndisebenzela isixeko saseKapa
and despite having taken time off to be here,
nangona ndithathe ixesha lokuba ndibe lapha.
I do need to return to work to serve the residents of the city.
Kufuneka ndibuyele emsebenzini ndikwazi unikela abantu inkonzo abazidingayo kuthi.
My name is Colin Anthony.
Igama lam nguAlon Anthony.
I'm a member of Fathers for Justice SA.
Ndililungu le Fathers for Justice SA.
I am an unmarried father
Ndingutata ongatshatanga.
who was not living with the mother of my son.
Andihlali nomama womntana wam.
As a result of my gender and marital status,
Ngenxa yesini sam nesimo sam somtshato,
by default, I am presumed guilty of not being committed to my son.
ndinikwa isohlwayo sokuba andikwazi ukugada umntana wam.
until I can prove myself innocent.
ngaphambi kokubana ndikwazi mna ukuzibonakalisa uba ndiyakwazi uba ngumzali emntaneni wam.
My son can easily be denied his right to a full relationship with me for several months or even years.
Umntanam uyakwazi okokubana anganikwa ilungelo lokuba andazi okanye ndibe ngutata empilweni yakhe.
And this time is further used to justify precedents for limited involvement
Lento yenza okokubana ndingakwazi uqhakamishelana nomntanam futhi ikhande engqondweni yakhe lobana umntana wam akanaye umzali ongutata.
supervised contact,
Funeka xa ndihleli nomntanam agadwe.
and this has already happened.
Lento iyenzeka.
The Act needs to provide for both parents to have automatic rights and responsibilities by default.
Lo mthetho funeka unyanzelise into kokubana umama notata babe namalungelo alinganayo emntaneni.
Unless it can be shown that there is a justified cause for a parent to have their rights reduced.
Ngaphandle kokuba kukho isizathu esibonakalisa uba omnye umzali akalungelanga ukuba abe ngumzali kulomntana.
It is a trauma for a parent to be excluded from their child's life.
Into yokubana umzali angafumani ithuba lokukhulisa umntana wakhe yinto ehlukumezeyo emphefumulweni wakhe.
We need to facilitate fathers being involved in their children's lives,
Masibancedise otata,
not making it harder for them.
masibancedise otata babe yinxalenye yobomi babantwana babo singayenzi ibe nzima lento kubo.
I have many comments.
Ndinezimvo ezininzi ngalento.
Default 50-50 contact, care, guardianship and maintenance.
Umntana makanikwe umzali makanikwe amazali bobabini mabanikwe ilungelo elilinganayo emntaneni wabo.
Mandatory mediation,
Makunyanzeliswe into okubana kuhanjwe inkundla kuthethathethwane malunga nomntana.
allowing a parenting plan prior to the birth of a child.
Makwenziwe into okubana kubekho uthethathethwano malunga nokukhulisa umntana phambi kokuba umntana azalwe nozalwa.
In the interest of broader participation, I will submit the rest of my recommendations as a written submission to the committee.
Ndiza kuthumela izimvo zam apha kwikomiti.
I support the process,
Ndiyayixhasa into eyenzeka ngoku.
but I am not happy with all of the changes that have been proposed.
Kodwa andonwabanga ngayo yonke into ekuthethwa ngayo apha ezawutshintshwa.
Particularly sections 21 and 30A.
Isahlulo 21 nesahlulo 30A zizo ezingandonwabisiyo.
They do not do nearly enough to provide equality between parents.
Ayenzi into ukubana ziqinisekise ukuba abazali bafumana amalungelo alinganayo emntaneni.
Thank you.
Enkosi kakhulu.
Yes, you must. That's why I came here.
Okay. Excuse me before.
And my answer. Okay, thanks.
We are interested to get whether you support the bill or you support the process, because most of you, about 2, if not 3, are saying they are supporting the process, but ni support bill isihloko esi lento size ngayo okanye bathini kanye umuntu makabe specific on that one.
Be specific, tell whether one supports the bill or where you stand, what your position is concerning the bill.
Siyavana tata lo gqiba usika the latter speak.
Is that clear? What I have recently mentioned, is that clear?
Tata nanku umuntu osibhekisa kuye ngilo ugqiba uthetha ba uthini kanye.
What are you saying?
I do not support the bill in its current format.
Take away the mask.
I do not support the bill in its current format.
You don't support it. Thank
And
you.
the class-
That's what we want to know. Thanks.
Enkosi kakhulu.
Olandelayo. Okay. Olandelayo.
Next person.
Good morning.
Morning.
Molweni.
Igama lami ngu Amanda Nomsambali ndivela kwa Center for Early Childhood Development. Kwa Center for Early Childhood Development.
I'm Amanda from the Center of Development.
For Early Childhood Development. Early Childhood Development. Center for Early Childhood.
Mamelani bethu nasanusebenzela.
I am from the Early Childhood Development Center.
We support everything the principals have said.
Sixhasa yonke into ethethwe apha. Sorry, just a minute, Chair. Kuthiwa masithethele phezulu masincede
Okay.
kungabi khona.
Ningasebenzelani. Social distancing abhekela utata azimele pha uthethe xa ingakuvanga usikuphinda uthethe apha embokweni unoyomsebenzela. Sawusebenza xa besiphaphadle.
We support everything the principals have said.
Sixhasa yonke intetha esele yenzekiwe.
As we work with over 400 centers who are experiencing the same challenges on the ground,
Sisebenza nabantu inani lamakhulu amane amashumi mathathu ananye apha phansi.
these challenges are a result of how the law is now.
Lemingeni mikhulu esinayo esijongene nayo.
Through this process, we have an opportunity to change the law so that it supports the ECD sector.
Kuba kwezi ngxaki sikoyo kufuneka kuguqulwe umithetho ukujongana nezimfuno
Which ultimately affects young children in South Africa.
eziphelela ke ekugqibeleni ezimfuno zichaphazele abantwana abancinane eMzantsi Afrika.
We would like to raise 5 ways the law should change, which have been put forward by the Real Reform for ECD campaign.
Ungathanda ukubeka inguqulelo esizibonayo kwezi meko zokubonelela abantwana kwimfuno zabo.
Which the Center for Early Childhood Development supports.
Inkxaso enikwa abantwana ekuphuhlisweni kwabo kwithuba elisaqalayo.
First, the ECD sector needs one-step registration process for all ECD providers.
Kufuneka kubekho ubhaliso lenzwayo kubo bonke abantu abancedisana nezibonelelo zokuphuhlisa imeko zabantwana.
Which includes centers, toy libraries, playground and home-based care.
Amaziko abakuwo nendawo zencwadi nendawo zokudlala.
Secondly, all children who attend any type of ECD program should be able to access the early learning subsidy if they need it.
Bonke abantwana abangenela kulamaziko oqeqesho kufuneka bavumeleke ukuthi zonke inkonzo abazifunayo zifumaneke okanye zifikeleleke.
Thirdly, ECD providers need a simpler, adequate health, safety and program standards.
Kufuneka kubekho nemeko ebonelela impilo ukhuseleko lwemeko ezibangqongileyo abantwana bahlale kwingingqi enokhuselo.
The current requirements are unattainable. Are unattainable, yes.
Imeko eqhubekayo kwakaloku nje imeko engafikelelekiyo.
And are based on international standards.
Ayifikeleleki kwimeko zamazwe esingqongene nawo ekuhlaleni.
We need to consider the South African context.
Kufuneka konke oko sikuqwalasele.
As long as our young children are safe in environments where they receive quality care and stimulation.
Abantwana bethu abancinci kufuneka babe bahlala kwingingqi ezinokhuselo olufanelekileyo.
Fourthly, it must be clear that you can get conditional registration if you can't meet all the registration requirements.
Funeka kubonakale okokuba xa bengena kubhaliswa ngokupheleleyo okwethutyana ixeshana kukho ukuhlala kwabo ngokufaneleke babhaliswe.
MECs must support providers servicing poor communities to meet registration requirements.
Kufuneka abaphathiswa abajongene nezimeko zaba bantwana babonelele ukuba bayabonelelwa ngazo zonke inkonzo kanye izinto ezibafaneleyo.
And they must be required to report to the minister on progress achieved.
Kufuneka balindeleke ukuba mabaphendule bamane bexelela umphathiswa ngemkonzo abafikelele kuzo nezifumanekileyo.
ECD services cannot be conditionally registered for 10 to 20 years without any help.
Ezinkonzo zinikwa abantwana azinawuba zezibhaliswa nje okwexeshana iminyaka elishumi okanye amashumi amabini ngaphandle kokuba kube kunikwa inkonzo ezifanelekileyo kubo.
Being conditionally registered should be viewed as a red flag for assistance.
Kufuneka ukubhalwa ukuba kuthiwe kubhaliswe nje okwethutyana yinto enokuba cinezela kwizibonelelo zabo.
Okokugqibela, the infrastructure needs of the sector must be supported.
Lastly, the infrastructure imbonelelo zabangqongileyo mazibonelelwe nazo ezo nkonzo.
Current providers, this includes the private land.
Kuchaphazeleka apho nomihlaba ababanayo yangasese.
Should be able to receive support, and municipalities must be required to provide for and maintain sufficient and appropriate ECD infrastructure in their regions.
Mabanikwe inkxaso omasipala balindeleke okokuba mabayinike inkxaso efanelekileyo kula maziko ajongene neemeko zabantwana.
Thank you very kindly.
Ndiyakubulela kakhulu.
Enkosi. Thank you.
Enkosi.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the committee for the opportunity to speak.
Mandibulise ndithanda ukubulela ikomiti ngale nxaxheba yalo veki.
My name is Jody Osborne, and I'm a member of Fathers for Justice.
Nam ndikwalilungu elisuka kwelisebe lezobulungisa.
I have two wonderful children that I haven't been able to see in 3 years.
Ndinabantwana ababalulekileyo abahlala ababini andikwazanga uba ndibabone iminyaka emithathu edlulileyo.
Due to the fact that I'm an alienated parent.
Due to the fact that?
Alienated parent.
What?
I'm an alienated parent.
Kuba ke ndingongumzali ufanele.
My children have suffered the loss of one parent due to a system that is biased and flawed.
Abantwana bam baxhamlekile batsale nzima ngomzali ilungelo lomzali omnye.
I have spent over 125 days in court in the past 3 years fighting for this.
125 cases in the past 3 years.
125 days.
125 days in the courts.
Yes.
Ndibe nekhulu amashumi amabini anesihlanu entsuku kule minyaka mithathu idlulileyo endizichithe ezinkundleni.
This is an appearance in court once in every 8 working days.
Yithuba elenzeka kanye kwintsuku ezisibhozo.
This has led to the inability to meet to financially support myself and my children due to not being able to hold a steady job.
Yandenzela inzima loo nto ukuba ndizixhase ngokunokwam ngokwemali nokuxhasa abantwana aba bam.
This drawn-out process is due to the inability of the courts being able to make a ruling.
Nenkundla azabi nako kokuba zenze isigqibo mayelana lomba.
The courts and social services are unable to identify and diagnose parental alienation.
Inkundla nesebe elijongene nemfuno zabantwana abakwazanga kwenza izigqibo ngokumayelana.
The Department of Social Services, unfortunately, are ill-equipped as they don't fully recognize or understand this.
alinazo izixhobo ngokufanelekileyo isebe lezajongene nemeko zokuhlala kwabantu.
Even though parental alienation was made,
Andivanga kakuhle kuthwani? Can you repeat yourself, sir?
yes?
Repeat yourself on that one.
Okay, the Department of Social Services is ill-equipped to deal with cases of parental alienation as they are unable to diagnose or understand it.
Elisebe lijongene nabameko zokuhlala kwabantu alikwazi ukuziqwalasela ezimeko ngokufanelekileyo nokunika inkonzo eziluluphi.
Even though this was identified as child abuse by the World Health Organization in 2019.
Noxa ngo-2019 isebe lemazwe onke libone ukuba kutyeshelwa iimfuno zabantwana ngalomba.
I myself have been victim to this when a reintegration progress has been mandated by social services but not enforced by the courts.
Nam ndibe lixhoba nditsale nzima phantsi koku noxa isebe lezijongene neemeko zabantwana ebeliqwalasela oku kodwa iinkundla azibanga nakuyihlonipha okanye uyithathela ingqalelo le nto.
The trauma that my children have gone through, both physically and emotionally, all could have been avoided.
Inkwaleko abaphumelele kuyo abantwana bam ngenxa yale meko imeko ebekunganako okokuba ibe ibithindelekile okanye ibinqandiwe ingenzeki.
If the Act catered for a 50-50 custody on separation or divorce automatically.
Okokuba ngaba kho imeko zoba amalungelo alingane ngokulinganayo kumiba apho kuqhawule khona umtshado.
Thank you for the opportunity. I unfortunately do not support the bill in its current format, but I do support the process.
Enkosi kakhulu adiuxhasi ngokupheleleyo umthetho lo uyilayo kodwa inyathelo eli lithatyathiweyo ndiyalixhasa lona.
Inyathelo. Inyathelo. Siyafuna ukuba
Ndiyayixhasa imeko okanye oku kwenziweyo noxa umthetho luyilwayo ndingawuxhasi kodwa ndiyazixhasa izimbono ezingaba zifuna ukwenziwa.
ebesithi ubuya phi kanene tata? Ebesithi ubuya kuphi? Ebesithi usuka phi utata? Ebesithi usuka phi utata?
From where are you coming from, did you say?
I am from the Western Cape.
Kweyiphi sector?
The sector you are coming from.
Working sector. I'm in retail.
Which?
Retail. Working sector.
Lisebe elisebenzayo elilapha eWestern Cape Working Center.
Oh, isebe lobulungisa.
Working Center, you said?
No, my working, you're asking my working retail sector. Retail. Retail. Sales, retail.
Sales.
Sanusabezelana makathetha apha emikini. Talk through the mic tata.
Sorry, sales, retail.
Sales?
And retail is my working sector.
Okay. Not isebe lobulungisa tata. All right.
Thank you then.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, committee, and thank you for the opportunity.
Enkosi ndiyabulela ngale ndima ndinikwe.
My name is Teslin, and I'm a member of Fathers for Justice.
Ndikende ndisebenza kweli sicadele lezobulungisa.
I am here today as a single mother
Ndilapha namhlanje njengomama ongatshatanga ozimeleyo.
Excuse me, Dad. Where are you from?
Fathers for Justice.
Uyayiva tata?
Fathers for Justice. Fathers for Justice. Yes.
Fathers of
Oyisebe zobulungisa, Fathers of Justice.
Tata ngumbutho obhalwe laa nto ibhalwe phaa, Fathers of Justice. Uyaqonda?
Okay.
We're not kwisebe lezobulungisa.
Is this organization Fathers for Justice?
Wetata.
Oh, Sindivile, thank you.
May I continue? I am here today as a single mother
Ndingumama olapha ongatshatanga ozimeleyo.
who has been fighting tooth and nail for 7 years
7 years. Ndizilwele iminyaka esixhenxe.
for my child's right
Ndilwela amalungelo omntwana wam.
to emotional, financial, and physical support
Ukucinezeleka nemeko zenkxaso ngokwasezimalini.
from a father who has no interest.
Uyise ongenamdla.
But I am also here
Ndikwalapha kanjalo.
as a partner and witness
Ndize njengengqina
for a father who is fighting
kuyise olwa
for the past 4 years to be part of his children's lives.
iminyaka emine edlulileyo ukuba beyindima kwimfuno zabantwana bakhe.
I have witnessed the destruction
Ndiye ndaphumela ukunxunguphaliswa okanye ukubetheka
caused by an ambiguous and insufficient law
kudalwa ngumthetho endingathi ngumthetho ongaphelelanga okanye ongaziboni zonke imfuno.
on fathers and mothers alike.
On
Fathers and mothers alike.
ezijongene nomama notata ngokufanayo.
I have watched my son
Ndiye ndamjonga unyana wam
go through rejection from his own father
ehamba ephumela phantsi kwalenzima yokukhatywa okanye yokungabonelelwa ngemfuno zakhe nguyise.
but I have also watched a father being shattered because he has not been able to see his children in 4 years.
Ndibonile nento yokuba utata ephumela loo nzima yokuba engakhange abe ubabonile abantwana bakhe ithuba leminyaka emine.
The act was designed to protect our children.
Yona ndijongene nokhuseleko labantwana.
But it is failing hopelessly as its laws are being misinterpreted
Keshelwa kodwa kuwa phansi ngokupheleleyo kuba le mithetho yakhatywa okanye ayihlonitshwa
misunderstood
okanye akucacelwa ayiqondakali
and used for parents' own selfish agendas.
isetyenziswa kuphela ukubonelela imfuno ezingafanelekanga zabazali.
We stand by helplessly and watch the futures of our children
Sigade imfuno zabantwana bethu
thrown into the hands of social workers
zigalelwa okanye zilahlwa ezandleni zontlalontle ukujongana nale meko.
who are overworked and unequipped to deal with our cases.
Siqinezelekile asikwazi ukuziqwalasela ezi meko zethu.
These are the people who are to decide what is in the best interest of our children.
Sithi abantu abamele kukuthabatha isigqibo esithi yintoni imfuno elungileyo okanye into esemdleni wabantwana bethu.
But the sad reality is that some of them don't even know what our children look like.
Kodwa ke okuyinene abanye abayazi nokokuba ngaba abantwana bethu bajongeka okanye bakhangeleka kanjani na.
The act must change.
Lo mthetho kunyanzelekile uba kufuneka uguqukile.
Our fathers deserve to have 50-50 custody.
Otata bethu kufuneka babe nemfuno ezilinganayo 50-50 balingane ngemfuno.
There needs to be no room for misunderstanding.
Akufuneki kubekho nencane into ekuthiwa ayiqondakali.
Our mothers need to know that the law is not there to be abused in an effort to carry out their own agendas.
Omama bethu mabayazi into yoba umthetho awukho uba ubekho uba umthetho mawudlakazwe okanye wophulwe kuqwalaselwe iimfuno zikabani nobani.
Most importantly, our children need to have an act that cannot be abused.
Ikakhulu abantwana bethu bafanele okokuba kubekho umthetho omileyo, umthetho ongenakudlakazwa okanye usetyenziswe ngendlela engeyiyo engalunganga.
And that is very clear about what is in their best interest.
Cace okokuba yintoni kanye emileyo emele ukuba iqwalaseleke.
A father willing to be a part of his child's life,
Utata onomdla ofuna ukuba naye abe nendima kubomi bomntwana wakhe,
who can offer unconditional love,
onokunika uthando olungena misela imiqobe bekiweyo, akhululeke kuthando lwakhe alale emntaneni wakhe.
is in the best interest of our children.
Yeyona nto ilungileyo kakhulu engaba yefanelekileyo ejongene ngqo nemfuno zabantwana bethu.
50-50 custody must be automatic and must be entered into the bill.
Mayenzeke into yoba abazali bobabini babe namalungelo alinganayo ngabantwana okanye ngomntwana wabo.
I support the process, but I reject the amendments in the bill. Thank you.
Ayixhasa imbono le ikhoyo kodwa ke inguqulelo ezi zisemthethweni ndiyazikhaba zona.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, members of the committee, honorable members, and everybody in attendance today.
Mandibulise amalungu ekomiti aphambi kwethu ahloniphekileyo nomuntu wonke ongaba ukho apha.
Who's going to present or submit?
We are
It's
presenting
you.
together.
Then it's Inja War.
Sihamba kuyo.
Okay.
So I am Lisa Goldschmidt. And
Take away your mask when you speak and then you'll put it back.
I am Tessa Goldschmidt, and this is my colleague Rufiwa Natlansana.
Come closer to the mic.
Thank you. We are Children's Commissioner's officers at the Office of the Western Cape Commissioner for Children. The Commissioner sends her apologies for not being here herself today.
Singama commissioner kweli candelo lijonge imfuno zabantwana apha eWestern Cape, who apologizes for not being here today.
Christina Nomdu, the Commissioner for Children.
Sicela uxolo ngabangekhoyo apha namhlanje.
Today we present a statement on behalf of the Commissioner and child human rights defenders.
Namhlanje sinikezela intetho egameni lale commissioner noku kujonge imfuno zabantwana.
As my colleague said, my name is Ropuan Tlanzana from the Office of the Children's Commissioner. The Western Cape Commissioner for Children and Child Human Rights Defenders consulted by her office wish to bring a serious matter to the attention of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, who are custodians of Children Amendment Bill.
Masizise imfuno kule mbutho ozimeleyo wabantwana sichaze izinto esizibonelela uba mazibe zinguqulelo ezizawungena kulo mthetho uyilwayo ujongene nemfuno zabantwana.
We believe that we must use this opportunity in the law reform process to make sure that we have fit and proper individual public office at any level who must work with and in the best interest of children.
Siyakholelwa kokuba masibe nabo abantu abamiselekileyo abafanelekileyo abazawujongana eziofisini bajongane nezi zimfuno zabantwana ngokufanelekileyo.
We appeal to the committee to ensure that the sections of this law are tightened to protect and promote the rights of children.
Sibhenela kwikomiti iqiniseke uba imfuno zabantwana ziyabonelelwa apha ngokufanelekileyo.
How can a convicted child rapist be a mayor?
How can a convicted child
Rapist be a mayor? Mayor.
A mayor. Angakungenzeka njani umuntu ofunyaniswe enetyala ngokudlwengula ubone ukuba sele emiselwa engusodolophu?
Disbelief, disgust, and concern were the responses children engaging with the Children's Commissioner when they heard the news that a child rapist has been elected the mayor of the municipality of Kanaland.
Ibe into xa kunyulwa umuntu obedlwengule abe ngusodolophu waseKanameya ibothusile jikelele apho abantu.
The Commissioner notes. The Commissioner says,
Umkomishina uthi,
I was outraged at this news.
Ndandilapho nam ndiphumile ukuva ndive ezo ndaba.
Only adults have the right to vote.
Abantu abadala kuphela abanelungelo lokuvota.
And they need to exercise that vote responsibly in the best interests of children who are a large part of society but cannot vote.
Mabasebenzise lo lungelo labo lokuvota ngokufanelekileyo lijongene ngqo nemfuno zabantwana abangenalo bona ilungelo lokuba bakavota.
The Commissioner has deliberately changed the names of child human rights defenders profiled in the statement.
Ujikiwe umkomishina imfuno zabantwana zemfuno zabo ngendlela efanelekileyo okanye elungileyo.
To protect their identities as we worry that they may face harm if identified.
Ngokubakhusela bangachazwa injongo yokuba bangachazwa ikukukhusela bona kuba sisoyika ukuba bachaziwe babe baziwa babangobani lonto ingababangela ubungozi okanye ukucinezeleka.
Muhammad stated, how is it possible that a rapist and fraudster can be allowed into positions where they can run a whole municipality?
Umqathi wathi kungenzeka njani uba umuntu obedlwengule afake kwiwonga lokuba alawule kumasipala.
Was the information of the candidates not revealed to the public during the time of the elections?
Olu lwazi ngalomntu khange lwaziswe na jikelele ngelithuba lokuba abantu bezigqatsela ukonyulwa.
Or are people just blindly following a rapist and a fraudster?
Okanye abantu bevaleke amehlo okanye bengaboni balandela nje oku kwenziwayo.
Who in their right mind would follow a grown man who started a relationship with a 15-year-old?
Ubani onengqondo ungalandela ndoda ebekwe emagunyeni echaphazeleka ukuba ibikwisenzo sodlwengula umntwana oneshumi elinesihlanu leminyaka ubudala.
And not just an ordinary man, the mayor of your municipality.
Ingabi yondoda nje ndoda iqhelekileyo nje lo ndoda ibe indoda ejongeke ukuba ibe ngusodolophu wengingqi.
Busi has lost her faith in these adult voters. She says,
Le ntombi iliphelelwe kukuthemba abantu abadala uthi
they are hypocrites to me because they say something and act differently.
bona bayingozi kum kuba bathetha oku benze okunye kwelinye icala.
I'm very sad and disappointed about this because we are supposed to feel safe in these adult hands, but I guess not.
Ndikhathazekile yile ngoba thina simele kuba sizibone sikhuselekile kokusingqongileyo kodwa akunjalo.
The child human rights defenders say everyone needs more voter education. Nontsikelelo opines it is futile.
Uthi kufuneka kubekho imfuno ezifanelekileyo kumuntu wonke ongumntwana.
Nontsikelelo opines it is futile to put people to vote who do not understand what they're voting for.
Uthi nontsikelelo tubaleke beka abantu eluvotweni bathi bevota babengakwazi oko bakuvotelayo.
People have been lacking skills, lacking knowledge, and lacking wisdom.
Abantu bebeqhwalela bengenazo izakhono bengenazo ulwazi.
To decipher which of these parties are saying what people want to hear instead of speaking facts.
Ukujonga kokuba yeyiphi na into abantu emele ukuba bayibonelelwe ebafaneleyo.
Voting for a person that has done something as disgusting as this is a sign of people are being misled.
Ukuvotela umuntu owenze isenzo esifana nesi into ebonisa okokuba abantu bayalahlekiswa.
The youth should be given an opportunity to vote, but people should be more informed to find out what is going on.
Ulutsha malunikwe ilungelo lokuvota kodwa abantu mabaziswe okokuba voto kukulungele ngantoni na.
South Africa needs a lot of work.
Mzantsi Afrika kuninzi ojongene nako umsebenzi omawenziwe eMzantsi Afrika mninzi kakhulu.
Along with the Commissioner for Children, these children are lobbying for voting age to start at 16 years old.
Ukujongana nomkomishina aba bantwana bafuna okokuba uvoto maluqalise umuntu eneshumi elinesihlanu leminyaka ubudala.
Kayelistha says, and this is why children should have more say, because at least they can help each other.
Uthi kalithi yilonto kufuneka abantwana babe nentetho nabo igalela abanokuwenza kuba bafuna imfuno ezininzi.
Niyasmosha ngo 5 minutes kudalipelile. You should have consolidated this report in because you are coming from the same commission.
5 minutes.
In conclusion, just conclude.
In conclusion, the Commissioner for Children asks, where does this leave us now?
Okugqibela uthi umkomishina wabantwana ngaba oku kushiya siphina ngoku.
Is talk about commitment to child rights and combating gender-based violence just lip service?
Imfuno zawuhlonitshwa kwamalungelo abantwana kuphinde kubekho ukucinezeleka kwabo ngokobuni.
This is not just a news story for those of us in the children's rights sector.
Ayisiso kuphela isisombululo esitsha kuthi abajongene nemfuno zabantwana.
This is the measure of our society and it is unacceptable.
Mba woluntu lwethu yimeko engena kwamkeleka.
We support the change in law. Thank you.
siyazixhasa inguqulelo ekufuneke zenziwe apha. Enkosi kakhulu.
Thank you very much. Can I see the hands for now? And it will be the last round. Let's agree. Because if you look at the time, we still have to answer some issues that are not clarified. Masiqala pha kuwe tata. Uphakamisile sisi. Ndicela uze ngaphambili sisezantsi isandla. Size kuwe bhuti ngemva pha. Size kuwe mama. Ndithe tata ndiza kuwe emva kosisi lo. Ulandele sisi. Ulandele mama pha. Seligqibile licala. Masize ngapha ke ngoku. Bhuti, andikabizi anyone from this side. I haven't
asked for
identified anyone. Uyumva uzohlala esitulweni sakho dodi. Ndicela uqala pha at the back. Khona umuntu ophakamisileyo pha.
Can
back. Ukhona olandelayo. Are you coming from the same Fathers for Justice? That's unfair. Iza sisi pha unxibe iyayi. Iza. Ewe. Yes. And then sekhona most chairs up. Uze mama unxibe iqhiya black, green and yellow. One more. It's finished. One more. There is one at the back. Then we will start here. Then season now, you're up ngaphambili. For now, can I be strict and reduce the time to 3 minutes? Because we have to leave this. Yes, sizawubuya ngani thina. Can I give you the numbers? Can you just raise your hand and give you the numbers?
Bengicela uhlisa ixesha umuntu azalithetha izaba imizuzu emithathu kuphela kuba kufuneka sigqibile.
Sorry kancinci sisi andiboni unisithini. 1, you are number 1. Yes. You are number 2 sis. Yes. You are number 3. You are number 4. 4. Nangu 4. Nangu. Yes. 4, 5, 6. That's all. And there are no other hands for now. Thank you. I don't clap hands, Father for Justice, Chairperson. There's nothing for clapping hands. We must just look at the time now. Isa, ma'am.
Let's start.
Okay. Mandibulise nam.
Let me greet.
The committee.
Let me greet the entire committee.
Yes. My name is Nomasande Milake.
Igama lami nguNomasande Milake.
Ndisuka from the working bus members.
I'm coming from the working bus project.
Yes. Ndizothetha ke malunga nomsebenzi wethu omkhulu obalulekileyo.
I'm going to talk about the work that we do, which is very important.
Umsebenzi wethu ubaluleke kakhulu ngoba umsebenzi wokwelisa abantwana emgaqweni.
Our work is very important because we are dealing with grooming young children.
And sisebenza kwizikolo ngezikolo ezohlukeneyo.
And we are working in different schools.
Eziba kuthethwa ngomcelingeni wabantwana okanye ukhuseleko lwabantwana.
As we are talking about the protection of children,
kune challenges ezininzi ekweliseni abantwana emgaqweni.
There are many challenges that you encounter when you raise and groom a child to follow the right direction in life.
Kuba uthi ujonge abantwana ngapha kube kusehla kusenyuka ibhasi neteksi ne-public transport for i-transport zabantwana ezikolweni ezithutha abantwana.
Because as you are raising children, we are raising them in an environment where they interact with different forms of transport in the community. This includes buses, taxis, and the transportation they use to go from and to school.
So I-1 if kunokwenzeka ibe kanti i-project iyaphela abantwana ukhuseleko labo emgaqweni luphi, because
our worry is that if the project we are on currently fails or does not continue, our children will remain vulnerable because their protection from the streets as it relates to them interacting on the road will not be secured.
Because okay kuba as one decision sithi siyabancede kweliseni abantwana emgaqweni kuhla kusenyuka ibhasi abanye abakhathali odriver bavela beze bebaleka, so funeka thina sizame unako simise so that abantwana bebe nowele emgaqweni. And
as we are protecting the children on the roads, part of the work that we do, or our work, is to protect children when they cross the road or interact in any place and when they use the road to cross. So if we are unable to do this work, it means the children will be left in danger because there will be no one to protect them from reckless drivers who often do not take into cognizance the fact that they are children who cross the street.
Even no principal ba happy mbona umsebenzi wethu yonke imihla bayasincoma because asanelanga kwelisa abantwana emgaqweni sinceda nezikolo at large.
So the principals of the schools are very happy with our work because our work is not limited to only assisting children to cross the road, but we also teach them behavioral ways to behave, and we also groom them to be better citizens for the future.
So ndiyalibulela elithuba niye nasinika lona so that sikwazi ukuthetha apha kule ndawo.
I appreciate the opportunity given by the Portfolio Committee for us to be able to come here and express ourselves.
So ezikolweni mninzi umcelimngeni kakhulu because kune challenge eninzi. Principal otishala pha ngaphakathi abekho safe xa thina singekho. Sithe ekufikeni kwethu phasafuma sakune challenge ezininzi. Abantu bayangena umzekelo abantwana besikolo kunabantwana abathengisa drugs. Ufumaniseke emacingweni babhizi bayathengisa emacingweni. Sinceda apho siye safika sanegalelo elikhulu lokunceda izikolo sijonga iziyobisi ezithengiswa kwangabazali abafana nathi ababhizi bathengisa iziyobisi ezikolweni abantwana baxayobhaka bathengisa izinto. So sithe ufika
kwethu ezikolweni. Our project includes assisting the schools to monitor the children and their behavior, which we have also analyzed that most of the children are actually being sold drugs around the school premises. So as we are there with our project, we are able to monitor and assist even the teachers to monitor what happens around the school even before the children enter the classroom. So our work is very important because we're working hand in hand with the teachers to ensure that the behavior of the children outside of the classroom is also monitored.
Okay, Bandibulele, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So I project yakho ayikaka registerisha.
Is your project not registered?
Tibuzba i-registered now.
Is your project registered?
It's been registered.
Okay.
Yes, it is registered.
Do you support the bill or not? Okay.
They passed. Let me take this opportunity to greet everyone who is inside here today.
Yeah, igama lam ndinguVuyani Nkosi.
My name is Vuyani Nkosi.
Ndisuka kumhlaba wasetown 2
I am from Town 2 in Section A.
ya ndikwelicandelo le-working bus
I am also a member of the Working Bus Project.
ya njengoba sisebenza ngabantwana esikolweni apha etown 2 eThembelihle
As we are working with children at schools in Town 2 in Thembelihle,
ya siyasifumana ii-challenges ezininzi ke phaa
we experience a lot of challenges.
phaa ngaphakathi into esiyenzayo kukuwelisa abantwana sibakhaphe sobafaka ngaphakathi esikolweni.
What we do is that we help children cross the road and make sure that they enter in the school premises safely.
But xa siphaya sikho safe ngoba okubalulekileyo abanye baphatha nemiphu so ithi ke ngolonto le kunyanzeleka into yokuba asingomapolisa kwaye singayo labor to watch.
But when we get there, we realize that we're actually not safe because there are people who are there who actually carry guns around the school premises.
So ndifuna ukuthi besicela inkxaso into yokuba inkonzo yesipolisa siwubone umsebenzi wayo ngoba sibe protected nathi kunye neetishara zonke.
We would like support from the SAPS to ensure that when we are there, we are protected, as well as the teachers who are there at the school.
Ngoba abantwana bayakwazi into yokuba bavuse iikuransi kwaye futhi abantwana besikolo bayathanda xa bephethe izikhali banika abangamantombazana.
Because what happens is that in and around the school premises, there are gang wars that ensue, and what happens is that they give each other guns, and most often they also try to introduce young girls into gangsterism.
Ngoba sithi xa sifuneke sibakhaphile begoduka sibe nengxaki ngoba eyona nto bayibhesileyo uzijonga kubo ezintwana bathatha neefoni kwenzela uba sinqandile kunyanzeleka into yokuba funeke simane ke ngoku siphekuza nangento ingathi zii-labor watch kodwa what ezingezo-labor watch si-working bus.
So the challenges we encounter is that when we walk the children back home from school is that we are unsafe and we don't have any weapons to protect ourselves. So we end up having to walk in groups so that we feel protected. So we need support because we are all not safe, including the school children.
Bendicela uba niyibethelele kwinkonzo yesipolisa into yokuba simane zinyuwe zisehla iveni phaa kwenzela uba sithi xa kuvela into ngoba baye baphathe neebhanga so singakwazi uzidifenda thina sibe sizama udifenda abantwana but sibe singenazo into ezizikhali njengabantu sizazi into yoba sisebenza esikolweni. So ndifuna uba ke ngoku ndicela into yokuba sicela uba sifumane intsebenziswano kwi-labor to watch kwinkonzo yesipolisa iveni zinganqabi kulanda around Kulandawu town 2.
We are asking for police visibility in and around the area because we don't have any weapons. We are working as an organization. We cannot protect ourselves against criminals, so we are asking for high police visibility in the area.
Ndiyabulela ngento yoba nisihlanganise kule ndawo kwenzela siyokwazi ukhupha imbeleni zethu ngoba sibangathi sifone kusithi ipolisi njengamntu okwelinye icala okumele i-staff forum kulaa ndawo ndihlala kuyo but ndiyakwazi ukukhola umntu ebeyisithi veniyeza but ingawenzi umsebenzi wayo ifike after ixesha elithile kanti kube sekwenzeke isiganeko ngelo hlobo ndifuna ukuthi ndenze ii-challenges.
I appreciate the opportunity given for us to come and express ourselves in this platform today. As we have tried unsuccessfully over a long period of time, this gives us an opportunity as community members to come and vent and tell you our frustrations as the people we elected into those positions. We appreciate the opportunity, and I'm just highlighting the challenges that we are facing in this community.
Enye into ndiyaxhasa ke ngale nto nisinike yona kodwa okubalulekileyo ndifuna uba zonke iprocedure okanye indlela lokuba sifumane indlela yokuba yonke le nto yenzekayo ilandelelelwe ukuba ke ngoku ayilandelelwanga ithini i-option.
So I support the process and I support the bill, and I'm raising the issues that I've raised to show that it is not far from what you have brought us here today, because we are here today in the interest of the children, and there are many factors such as what I am part of that are speaking to the rights of children and the safety of children in the community. So this is why I'm raising this issue here.
so ndicela ke ngoku into yokuba ukuba ke ngoku niyasixhasa kuloo nto leyo siyazi uba sizawukhala kubani okanye siripote kubani siyazi uba yonke into ihamba covered. Enkosi.
So what we would like a commitment as to who is going to support us in our project so that we know who to call whenever we encounter difficulties as we are embarking on our project that has to do with children's safety in the community.
Thanks.
Enkosi.
Department of Education. Okokuqala mandibulise indlu yonke, ndibulise amalungu eParlamente onke, ndibulise yonke into njengoba ndibona umbhalo, ndibulele nokuba lapha, ndibulele nokunikwa nethuba.
Firstly, let me greet everyone who is here today. Let me greet the members of Parliament and also appreciate the opportunity for me to be here today.
Mandithi mna okokuqala okwesibini ndiyayixhasa ngokupheleleyo le nkqubo into endiyirhalelayo.
Secondly, let me say that I support the process that is being undertaken here today.
Sorry, andixelanga igama lam ndinguNomakhaya Vanqa. Ndihlala eSite C.
Apologies, I did not introduce myself. My name is Nomakhaya Vanqa. I am from Site C.
Ngensebenzo ndise Step by Step preschool.
I work as an ECD practitioner in Step by Step preschool.
Ndineminyaka engama-22 ndiphayana.
I have
Ndinaminyaka engama-22 ndiphayana.
2020. I have been there for 22 years.
Mandithi okwesine ndiyabulela kwiqela le-walking bus elithe landazisa ukuthi kukho le nkqubo namhlanje izawuba khona apha ndize ngenxa yabo.
Let me take the opportunity to thank the Walking Bus Project as I am here today because of them and I appreciate the work that they are doing.
Kodwa ke andizuthethela ECD yodwa ndizawuquba ne-community.
I'm not only going to talk about ECD centers, but I'm also going to talk about the community as a whole.
Ndinesicelo esikhulu kakhulu kwicandelo lakwa Home Affairs.
I have a big request as it relates to the Department of Home Affairs.
Kukho abantwana abangakwazi ukufumana amalungelo abo okufunda ngenxa yento kokubana abanazo i-birth certificate beyaye ingabantwana balapha ingengobantwana bamanye amazwe.
There are children who are unable to enjoy the same rights as other children simply because they can't get their birth certificates. And it is I'm not only referring to migrant children, but I'm referring to South African citizens as well.
Ngenxa yento yokubana abazali babo ibisengabantwana kabo kwabona.
This is because in most cases their parents are also minors as well.
Ngenxa yexesha lokuvuka kuzwe apha eHome Affairs funeka ubethe u4 o'clock in the morning ube sowulapha.
This is because of the long queues that are at Home Affairs centers where a person has to be here be at a Home Affairs office as early as 4 a.m. in the morning in order to get assisted.
Kubekho abazali abangakulungelanga ukuba bakhulise abantwana.
There are also parents who are not capable to raise children.
Kwaye mandikubulele sisi ngokuthi masibe nenxaxheba singabahlali ukujonga ukubana lo mzali ngaba unalo na ilungelo nokuthi ne-foster care ezo sizijonga ukuthi ingaba zibagcina ngendlela efanelekileyo. Ndiyakubulela namhlanje ukuvaka nam ndingumhlali ndinoxanduva lokujonga oko ngokuba kukho abazali abasebenzisa ii-drugs kakhulu ngaphezu kwemfuneko kuze abantwana bangakwazi noba babe nalo ilungelo ba
babheke esikolweni kuthathwe le mali yoba besitya ile grant ibe yiyo ekuthengwa ngayo ezi ziyobisi ufike emdaka.
Let me thank you, Chairperson, for your remarks as you were opening the meeting, where you spoke about the fact that we as community members also need to take an active role in ensuring that children who are in foster homes are taken care of in the correct manner. The issue we are facing in the society is that many foster homes are breeding ground for drug selling and drug abuse that children are exposed to at a young age. So I appreciate the fact that as a community member, I am empowered by this law to also have a view and a voice as it relates to foster homes in the communities, because we have noticed a very big problem where the social grants which are intended for the children at these foster homes are actually not used for the children's needs, but they are being used for things that are not related to any well-being of the child.
Londo ikhokelele kuqhekezo lwezindlu kuqhekezo lesenta uthi yabe iqhekeziwe ukwazi ukuya kwisenta apho ufika khona apho ke ngoku uthi ka uyomangala khona ungawafumani amapolisa. So ijustice dinesicelo sokuba mayifakele apha kwaye okwesibini iAfrica Rise kunye nam step by step sikhuthaza kakhulu ulutsha from 15 years to 24 ukuba sibafundise ngegender based violence. Sihamba kunye noNakhonsa iNGO nam sendi-registered kwenye NGO yam ndikhuthaza i-community ukuthi mayilime ezigadini mayenze izinto izakhono apho banokuthi bakwazi ukufumana bakwazi babe nento bayenzayo bangahlali nje.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I appreciate the opportunity. In summarizing, I want to encourage community members to be active in the community. In each and every aspect of the community, they must also take part and take an active role in raising our children in communities. Many of the challenges that I have relayed to you include issues where these children are also partaking in criminal activities because the money of the grant that is intended to them is used in wrong ways, and the foster homes are not taking care of the children. So as the community, we have a role to play, and I'm encouraging each and every community member to join the organizations that I have mentioned to take part in actively raising the children in our communities. I thank you, Chairperson.
All right. Bhuti.
Sanibonani
Yima Bhuti. Ndivumelana nani uba niyasimosha ngoku.
Let's agree that we are now not operating on the terms that we have agreed upon.
Siyacela ixesha because akukho mandi umane uqhawula umuntu. Khawuthethe into emfutshane sukusibalisela uba kwazi uthini ngalo mcimbi size ngawo.
Can we please agree that we stick to the subject matter at hand and try to be as clear, as concise as possible, as time is not on our side?
Over to you, Bhuti Nkosi.
Mangibonge mhlali ngaphambili.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Igama nguPhumlani wakwaNyoni.
My name is Phumlani Nyoni.
Ngiqhamuka kwiNyanga Educare Forum.
I'm coming from Nyanga Educare Forum.
Ngithi mangithathe leli thuba nami ngibonge ukuthi sibe lana namhlanje.
I want to take this opportunity to thank and appreciate why we are here today.
And ngibonge futhi nangale bill enisilethele yona la namhlanje.
I'm grateful for the bill before us today.
Engathanda nje nethi ukuthi ngakubeka ngaphambili kakhulukazi.
What I'd like to emphasize the most,
ukuthi lo mthetho njengoba usubekiwe,
as this law is being put into place,
ukuthi ungalandelelwa emveni kwalokho,
that everyone must follow it.
Because singama ECDs enyanga siyahlupheka kakhulu.
As ECDs in Nyanga, we are suffering a lot.
Ngoba into eyenzakalayo makumele si register kushonwa le na le ema office maningi kumele uye kuona.
Because when it comes to the registration process, there is a lot of bureaucracy and we have to go to many offices before we can actually register.
Kuze kuphela unyaka uzama ukuregister ungazange ukwazi ukuregister.
A year can end while you are trying to find yourself as a registered ECD.
Kunama crash ngiyacabanga ukuthi since ayi registration ngo-1994 namanje basazama ukuthola certificate abakwazi ukusithola ngoba kuloku ushonwa le kuyiwa le kuthiwa makubhaliswe lokubhaliswe lokuya.
There are ECD centers that have not been registered since 1994 as a result of all this bureaucracy, and still today they still don't have their certificates.
And then manje uthola ukuthi abasakwazi ukuthola usizo from ku-social development.
And you find that because they are not registered, they can't get any assistance from the Department of Social Development.
And abantu abahluphekayo kuko konke lokho abantwana.
And the people who suffer the most out of all of this are the children.
So ngiyacela ukuthi social development naye ngokunokwakhe
Can social development please
akwazi ukuthi naye awavakashele nama ECDs nalabantu abacontractile ukuthi mabenze lo msebenzi akwazi ukuthi abalandelele.
Can social development please ensure that they also monitor the ECDs as well as the people whom they employ to monitor ECDs to ensure that they're doing the work they are supposed to be doing?
Because amaphepha ayalahleka kuthiwa no submitile amaphepha agcine lahleka phinde futhi umele uqale phansi and manje awukwazi ukuthola lutho lokho.
There are registration papers that are always being reported as being missing, and then when you don't have those registration papers, you have to start from scratch. You have to start the registration process from scratch, and that leads to you being an unregistered ECD.
So ngamafishane ngizokucela nje ukuthi ngicela ukuthi registration process ngicela ibe shorter and kwazi ukuthi yonke into uyithola endaweni eyi1 akumelanga uye kule uphinde uyele uzokwazi ukuthi uregister.
In summary, what I'm trying to say is, can the registration process for ECDs, the bureaucracy to register, can it please be reduced, and can it be centralized to one place where you only go to one place to register your ECD and the process is much more efficient?
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much.
Hello. Tata, andukuvanga ukuthi uyasupporta or uthini?
I didn't grasp whether you support the bill or not. I support.
Thank you.
Enkosi.
Molweni. Molweni.
Good afternoon.
Kumntu wonke okhoyo.
Sorry.
Kumntu wonke okhoyo apha ngaphakathi endlini.
Greetings to everyone who is here today.
Ndinguwelekazi wakwaRhangana.
I am Welekazi Khangana.
Ndihlala eMakhaza.
I live in Makaza.
Ndikum project ye-working bus.
I'm on the working bus project.
Incinci nje into eye yaniphatha kakubi.
There is something small that has unsettled me.
Njongobana siphakathi kwabantwana phaya esikolweni.
Khawunyuse ivoice so that ababaziva isintu bakwazi ukuva.
Alright. Njengokubana siphaya esikolweni sisebenza ngabantwana.
As we are at the schools working with children,
dibone abantwana bephuma esikolweni ngesizathu sokuba omnye uhlala nomakhulu akasambi kakuhle isikolo end up ugovernment esithi makaphume esikolweni totally angaphindi afunde.
I have noticed a very high dropout rate among the learners, and the reason cited by most of the families is that at the schools where the primary caregiver of the child is the grandmother, the children struggle to wake up and attend school frequently, such that they end up dropping out of school.
Ingaba ndingumzali nomuntu ojongene nabantwana, indima endingayidlala ngeyiphi na ukwenzela ba lo mntana esemncinci aphinde abuyele esikolweni.
What role can I play as a parent and also someone who is working with children in the community to ensure that these children who drop out of school actually go back into the schooling system?
Ukugqibela
khawuyiphinde le nto bowuyitsho uthi umntwana aphuma esikolweni athini futhi?
Okay. Umntana ne uyafunda esikolweni ne. Into ke ngoku eyenzekayo lo mntana is either uhlala nomzali wakhe ongamlandeleli into bana apha esikolweni izinto zesikolo uhamba kahle isikolo mhlambe begqibele inyanga ezintathu engasazi esikolweni uyabizwa sisikolo akezi kude kufikelele kwixesha lento kubana umntana lo isikolo sithi ngoku siyamkhupha apha esikolweni.
So it's a situation where a child or the parent or the caregiver of the child or the guardian does not follow up on the child's progress at school. So when the teachers ask for the homework or the school assignments and they find that, or they call the parent to school, the school tries to call the parent to try and explain that the child is not performing at school, the parents do not respond to the school. So the school ends up chasing the child out of school as a result of the parent's behavior of not monitoring the child's progress at school.
Lo mthetho oyilwayo ndiyawamkela noxa ndingekawufundi wonke kodwa yinto endiqondayo uba ibalulekile into yoba nomzali babambisane ekukhuleni komntana.
I support the Children's Amendment Bill, even though I have not read it entirely, but I believe that it is important for parents to work hand in hand to raise their children together. Thank you very much.
Mama, masikucele udibane ne-social worker phaya uyowubeka lo mcimbi ukwenzela uba uncedakale ekubeni ba lo mntana landeleke.
Please, can you go and see the social worker and tell her about your issue so that it can be followed up?
Mhlawumbi unayo ingxaki lo mntana engaqondakaliyo engakhange ibone. Masingathi siyaqupha ke bethu nani kusekho ezinye izandla.
Molweni ndibulise kumandwendwe asetafuleni.
Siyeke sesibulisiwe ungasibuleli nosibulela sesibulele.
Ngunonceba othethayo ndisuka eNdlovini.
I am from the Ndlovini area.
Ndingumama ogcina abantwana nam ndinesenta phayana.
I also do have a center there looking after children.
Okokuqala ndiuxhasa umqulu enithe neza nawo.
Firstly, I support the bill that has been brought to us.
Njengoba ngasingabomama abagcina abantwana zininzi challenges esibhekene nazo.
As we are mothers looking after children, we are faced with many challenges.
Ingakumbi thina abantu bagcina abantwana ematyotyombini.
Especially we who are looking after children in the shacks area.
Sizijongela phansi ngoba kaloku umthetho wayilwayo izinto ezininzi azifunayo.
We despise ourselves when we look at the acts and we see the many requirements that are needed.
Siye sizibona ba nabantwana esibagcinayo ingathi bona amalungelo abanawo abantwana basematyotyombini.
We feel guilty that the children that we look after, that they do not have certain rights.
Ngoba ubangaba sinongayenzi inxaxheba yoba sithathe abantwana abazali babo abaye emisebenzini singabe nesono esikhulu ngoba abantwana bangaphela bedlwengulwa belutshaba loba babe seziyobisini bebancinci bamithe bebancinci.
Because if we could not look after children when their parents are at work, children might end up becoming victims to crimes being committed and find themselves even being raped.
Njengokuba ke egaranta iCreche ezikwiStena ziphinde kwazona zithatha amanani amancinci abantwana abanokwazi accommodate bonke abantwana kwezi ndawo abasezitenini abagcina kuzo abantwana.
And these creches cannot afford to have big numbers of children at the places where they are looking after children.
Bendizawucela urhulumente nathi asijonge uba ngaba inayo indlela obana angakwazi apha akatshintshe khona asincede atshintshe apho sinotshintsha khona.
I would also ask the government to look at us, at our interests, where there are situations or where the government can implement changes, those changes be brought about and they look at our interests.
Ndilibuleleke lithuba ngoba sizawuthatha lo mpoposho suse ebazalini ngoba sinabo abazali abakhulisa abantwana bengodada.
I am thankful to this occasion and the views that have been raised here. we will take everything that has been said here, take it to the parents, because we have parents where it's males who are having or looking after their children.
Ndizawucela i-social worker nazo zisincedise ekusinikeni i-workshop zosifundisa ngakumbi ngendlela zokugcina zokujongana nabantwana abafikisayo.
I would also ask that the social workers should also have an eye on us to look after ways how we brought about these children.
Ngoba kulapho abantwana abancinci sisajonge bona balapho bakhetsha khona sinokwazi ubalungisa ingqondo zabo ngexesha bazabe bephuma besiya kwizikolo ezikhulu.
That's where we are still looking after these children as they are young, and we can look after their interests, prepare themselves as they are about to go to higher schools for higher education.
Basincede nakwindima yabantwana abafikisayo apho banokwazi noba basisupport mhlawumbi umzekelo ngepads apho sinobaqokelela sikwazi ubaxelela ubana umntana ofikisayo uqala kweyiphi age azazi izigaba zobuntwana angaveli athi engumntwana esafikisa abelixhoba lokuba adibane nezinto ezingalunganga.
So that we should also ask for them to support us with certain materials of needs like pads, so that we could also teach and educate the children to know how to look after themselves whilst they are still at this young age. I say thanks to the chair.
Thank you.
Enkosi.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Thanks for hearing me again. This is probably, this is the third time that you've seen me. I'm here to speak. The first time that I spoke to you, I came to you with my problems and I put them at my feet. When I went home, sorry.
Ndilapha ke ndiyadithethile nani kwithuba elidlulileyo ndabeka iingxaki zam kodwa xa ndihamba ndigoduka.
So this time, the second time we spoke, I tried to be more objective.
Namhlanje ndizama ukuba nentsingiselo ukubheka kanye egoqweni apho ithole lifele khona.
And now, I think we're taking a bird's eye view of the thing. So what we've done, Ms. Bilankulu, when you spoke to us in, I'm saying to Ms. Bilankulu, when you, maybe I have that pronounced wrong, but when you spoke in the Free State, you asked us to tell you what we needed to be changed in the bill.
Xa ubuthetha nathi mama eFree State ndilibizile eligama ndilibiza andazi noba ndilibize ngokufanelekileyo kodwa uthethile nathi usixelela izinto ekumele ukuthi zenzeke.
So what we've done is we've gone back and met with all of the fathers groups.
Siye sabuya saya kubo bonke abaxhasi ebesithe sathetha nabo.
And put a submission through for you, and I have it here.
Saze sayibeka ndinayo imbalelwano apho elungisiweyo endinayo endinokukunika yona.
Okay, so I don't, to be honest, I don't really envy you right now, because you've got to go back to Parliament and you have to balance fathers' rights with women's rights.
Kufuneka imfuno zomnotho uziqwalasele kwakunye nemfuno zobantu abangomama.
Gender equality, trends in domestic violence.
Uqwalasele nemfuno zobuni.
Cultural requirements like lobola.
Nemfuno zobuntu ezifana nendima zelobola.
And of course the gross bias that we see within the DST.
Within
the DST, Department of Social.
Meko esibonayo yento esingahambi kakuhle kakhulu kwisebe le DST.
I have, however, come to offer solutions.
Ndiye ndafikelela kwiziphakamiso ezithile endinazo.
So, number one, to a parent, a child represents their purpose on earth.
Ubalulekile umntwana kumzali ngamnye.
The majority of children in South Africa do not live in homes with both parents, almost 2/3 of them.
They do not live in homes without parents.
With two parents in them.
Uninzi labantwana eMzantsi Afrika abahlali kumakhaya anabazali ababini.
And so this bill must be reconnected with that reality.
Lo mthetho uyilwayo ke kufuneka lonto inyani injalo ujongane nayo.
This one document that we are submitting is written to be fair and neutral. Fair.
Le ncwadi siyibhalileyo esinikezelayo incwadi esiyibhale ngokunyanisekileyo nangokulunge kunene.
There are suggestions in it though to safeguard against the abuse of the law and our children.
Zikhona imfuno ezihlonele umthetho nezihlonele abantwana bethu.
I'll give you a copy, okay?
Ndiza kunikezela umqulu lo ndifunda kuwo ndiza kusho.
I'll be very much glad because of time, really.
Please hear me. Okay. I'll be quick as possible. So, the solutions. It is clear that an epidemic level of bias exists within the DSD. But how do you guard against this realistically?
Kufanelekile kubekho imfuno ezikhoyo eziqwalasela kweli sebe le-DSD.
So we must consider that social workers are human after all.
Kufuneka siqwalasele nento yokuba ontlalontle nabo bangabantu kambe.
When they see a particularly traumatic case, they themselves become traumatized.
Xa bebona isehlo esinye apho kucapha bonakala ukuba akaphethekanga kakuhle umntwana, loo nto inako nokubachaphazela bona njengabantu.
And actually develop a bias.
Loo nto ke inako nokubalukutha ibanike ukuba bangasebenzi ngokufanelekileyo kanye isisombululo ekufuneka bafikelele kuso, benobucala ibe nenkethe.
To resolve this, constant training and counseling of our social workers need to be occurring.
Ukusombulula kufuneka ngalo lonke ithuba ontlalontle bethu baqeqeshwe ukwenzela uba umsebenzi lo bawenze ngendlela efanelekileyo.
They need to be constantly reminded that in applying a bias, they have the potential to kill a father to a child.
Kufuneka besoloko bekhunjuzwa nabo bakwazi ukukhumbuza umzali ngemfanelo zakhe apha emntwaneni.
It is too often that the best interest of the child is intertwined with the best interest of the mother.
Kuyenzeka kaninzi imfuno ezilungileyo zomntwana ziqwalaselwe zidityaniswe nemfuno zikamama.
In enshrining the 50-50 clause and necessary penalties for perjury,
ukwenzela uba makube kusebenza uma silingane kubonelelwe nendlela zokohlwaya ezifanelekileyo.
you remove 80% of the workload in the DSD.
Amashumi asibhozo epesenti omsebenzi mawushenxiswe ususwe kwisebe eli le-DSD.
How do I sum this up? Okay. The third point is engagement with the Department of Justice.
Okwesithathu yindima yokuba makuqwalaselwe kusetyenzwe kunye nesebe lezobulungisa.
Police officers react with indiscretion, but perhaps training should occur in terms of, is there a custody issue going on?
Namapolisa indlela isebenzayo kodwa mhlawumbi kufuneka nakubo kubekho ukuqeqeshwa ukufundisa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do the submission as usual. Do the submission. Yeah. Thank you. The time really is against us today. You want to submit to? This is the submission table. Now. Yeah? Putin. Give it to that lady. Then they will give it to us, please. Masibone the last hands ebeziphakamisile, they must just come to the front. Please, please, please. Ixesha lishile bethuna. Come and sit there now. Hayi bethuna, you will be
Time
the
is
last
against
one.
us, ixesha lisishiyile.
Mandibulise, ndizoba mfutshane kakhulu.
Allow me to greet you all. I will be very brief.
Igama lam ndinguLindiwe Dlakane, ohlala eSite C Dlakane.
I am Lindiwe Dlakane, residing at Site C.
Ungasibulisi mama, ungasibulisi.
Ongumama we-ECD eThembeni Education Center, ndingu-principal wakhona.
I'm a principal of an ECD center.
But into endizowuthetha ngayo namhlanje yi-online application.
Today I'm going to speak about the online application.
Mna ngoko kwam ngangindisebenzele ngohlobo lolubana abantwana bam ndinomntana wam abantwana bam bayi-2 omnye ngowe-foster omnye ngowam
Myself, I work for myself. One child is my own child and the other is a foster care child.
And omnye ngommelwane.
And the other child is a child of my neighbor.
Into eyenzekayo bendiaplaye early phaa ngoMarch uvulwa kwe-applications.
What happened? I submitted an application early in March when it was the period open for applications.
Then xa bebuyisa i-email yam bathi abantwana ba-unsuccessful. Abafumananga sikolo.
Abatheni?
Abafumananga sikolo.
Abantwana. When my application was returned, it was said that no school has been found for these children.
Aba bayi-2 bafunda grade 7 babezawuya kwa-grade 8.
2 of them were in grade 7. They were about to go for grade 8.
Omnye lo we-foster uku-grade 12 uzawuya kunyaka wakhe wokuqala.
The foster child is in grade 12, was going to do first year at university level.
Impendulo zakhona zithe abafumananga sikolo kugcwele esikolweni ngoba ndizamile ukuya esikolweni kwaba baka grade 7 xa ndifika kuthiwa isikolo sigcwele.
Answers was that for the one grade 7 and grade 8 there is no place at the schools. I was told when I went there too that the application time has lapsed or is full.
Indenza buhlungu kakhulu ke loo nto ngoba into eyenzekayo bazawuthi xa bengafundanga bengafumananga sikolo andiyazi noba ndithini noba ndiphindele andiyazi.
That greatly affects me because I do not know what I should actually do as they have not got places to continue schools with their education.
Loo nto indenza ixhala kakhulu ngoba uba ngaba
Yima mama, uhlala ndawoni?
Ndihlala eSite C.
Phi?
Site C.
Ubani uceba walandawo?
Ceba waphaya ibingumabhuti ngoku uzawungena ukhaya.
Kuthena ngakuncedisi ukhaya kule nto because thina njengo social development lento uyithethayo mos yakwa basic education andithi na bakhona abantu. It's just that I don't know the office ye constituency member epha kulangini, but I know okhaya Magaxa banibani Qubudile Dyantyi bahlala apha kule area. This lady mahambe hlala uhlala kule area uyabazobo bantu.
To find out ndizawuya
kuba eneneni asifuni ukulibazisa ixesha apha because lo mcimbi kufanele kungqiyanwe straight naba bantu bakwa education. Uyayibona?
We do not want to waste time.
Umntana indawo ne?
The issue is not for this.
Uyayifumana i-foster care lo mntana?
Uyayifumana i-foster care. Then ke ngoku iwari yam xa engazufunda engazufumana sikolo izawucima itsho into yakho.
Izawucima kaloku. Izawucima kakade ngoba kaloku kufuneka afunde. So yile nto kufuneka uye kwaba bantu basondeleye phaya ngoba thina sisajikeleza sayofika nini eParlamente ukwazi ubeka lo mcimbi izikolo zizawuvala. So please ndicela ukhangele abo bantu ndikunika bonke aba bantu uqale kulo ugqitya ubekwe besanda
Look for these people.
enkosi
both
kakhulu
one.
ke mama
Nkosi kakhulu ndiyabulela.
why are you going back?
I thank you, Chairperson, greatly.
That lady, I said she must sit there at the back and also ilente. Nkosi mama, ngena mama. Uyiqhawule nje mama wam.
Mandubulise umhlangano.
Molo mama.
Let me greet everybody.
Ngomnye womama be-walking bus. Ogqabam sebesukile kule ndawo.
I'm one of the
Isithi
working
ndizo-
bus committee. My colleagues were already here in front.
Ndiyawungqina umgaqo obekiweyo namhlanje umcimbi ongabantwana.
I agree with what had been laid forward down concerning an issue concerning children.
Ndisithi ubukho bethu namhlanje apha kude kubekho namayakayaka asithi e-walking bus.
I am saying that I'm thankful for us being here, and even those neglected one of ourselves from the working bus are also here.
Abantu abaye bangajongelwa ntweni kwi-community esihlala kuzo.
People despised at the communities where we are staying.
Ngoba siye sibizwe ngegama lokuba singomabuyaze.
We have got a nickname. They are calling us, it's those who always returns with nothing on hand.
Into ebangela sibizwe ngelo gama kuyaziwa into yoba singabantu abavolontiyayo ixesha elininzi kodwa bevolontiya besenza umsebenzi wabantwana qha sazijwila ujaco.
Reason that they say that it is because we are people who are volunteering. We have offered ourselves to render services for the children.
Sazixelela into yoba sawubaleka emva kwabantwana noba asinikwa nto phantsi kweemeko ezenzekayo kubantwana bethu uqalela ku-grade R uyotsho ku-grade 12.
We said we would run after our children, starting from those in grade R to grade 12, looking after all the interests of the children.
Abantwana esiye sifumane wena ungasijongela njengobantu njengabantu abangabalulekanga kodwa umsebenzi esiwenzayo ubaluleke ukogqitha umuntu one-laptop phambi kwakhe.
You would see us as persons who are not important, but the work or what we are doing is very important. We even exceed work being rendered by people having laptops.
Imake mama phambi kobulile sizawusawulila sonke apha kule holo ndawuzawusenza njani. Yeyiphi iminyango unkqonkqoze kuyo for le group yenu kuya kuyo?
Thina mama thina siyasebenza inyanga
hayi mama i-department isebe eliniye nala kulo leliphi?
City of Cape Town.
City of Cape Town.
Eye yazama ukusisebenzela mama ekunkqonkqozeni kwethu.
On our knocks is the City of Cape Town that tried to render assistance.
Thina mama siyayisebenza inyanga umzekelo mama thina ngoku inkxaso esiye sayifumana sisebenze umzekelo ngoku kulo nyaka sisebenze from last year sayifumana inkxaso ngo-August. Siphindile ngoku njoba sisebenza nje sifumana lo nkxaso nge-15 yale nyanga siyagqibelisa ukuphinda sifumane inkxaso esiyifumanayo sizawuvolontiya until elo xesha singalazi.
We worked from last year, we got assistance in August, and now again on the 15th of this month, next month we are going to get assistance. Mostly we are rendering or volunteering our services that we are doing.
Umzekelo ngoku sizawugoduka siye emakhaya phaya sizawuleqa ukuvula kwezikolo sibe siyazi ba siyovolontiya asithathi ntweni qha kuba siyazazi into yobana sihamba emva kwabantwana bethu siphepha igani kwindawo mna ndihlala eKhayelitsha.
Alright mama benicelile kaloku ixesha utata lo usecanga kwakhe beyibekile imeko kodwa ndifumanisa into yoba i-City of Cape Town yaninika inkxaso. Qha kaloku ngoku i-City of Cape Town isandubekwa mos inoba bakagqibi nenyanga bengenile emva koba sivotile. So ngoku phindani niyonkqonkqoza kulaa mnyango bazawuphinde umfesane nonomfesane baphinde banibolelele ide ibe le project yenu iyaqiniyema.
City of Cape Town has recently been installed. The newly elected persons again go to them and ask for assistance. They will further attend and give you assistance.
Siyacela ke mama nani nisincedise ubukho bethu kule ndawo ze singabusoli nisiphe amandla nani ubukho bethu ze nisincede ngoba ininzi umsebenzi osebenza ezikolweni ukureyitshwa kwabantwana kubonwa ngathi.
We ask that you should also assist us here because we are rendering a lot of services to the community. We are also responsible for seeing the fact of children being raped at schools.
All right. Sivile yonke lenkcukacha. Sicela all people that are seated here, abantu abahleli kwezi zitulo, bangaphindi all what has been said before. Mama, kufuneka nibheke kwi City of Council. Nanga amalungu eParliament ahlala apha eKapa. Mari, can they see you? Nangu mama Mari, hlala apha eKapa. Nangu Alex uhlala apha eKapa. What you can do xa kuphunywa apha nizothatha ne-numbers zabo nanku haya uhleli Kapa mani nithathe i-numbers zabo ukwenzela uba bancedise kule nto ye-City of Cape Town ihambe nani le project because le project i-Department of Education ndiqinisekile izawuthi ayibhajethelanga for le nto. Enkosi siyabulela mama niyibambe ngolo hlobo.
To all these issues, there are two members of Parliament locally that can assist you. They get their numbers, contact them immediately. After this occasion, you may sit down. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm looking at the time. If 1 o'clock ubetile, we won't be able to allow the Department of Social Development to answer you because ixesha lizabe liphelile. I also identified security, the lady that his hand was up. But can I request you 1 minute of your time? So
Time is
that
up.
we give the Department of Social Development time to also round up and sum up some of other things.
Time is against us. Please, people, can we allow 1 minute? Let us be brief because the Department of Social Development's interest must also be attended to.
Can you come forward, ma'am?
Good afternoon, honorable committee members. Thank you very much. My name is Betty Nieuwoud. I am representing a child protection organization by the name of Stel Care. It is the Stellenbosch and Districts Family Services. We are
Ndingubhethe Nieuwoud ndiseStellenbosch ndimele kwa umba wabantwana.
We service communities in the Cape Winelands and Metro East.
Cape Winelands, Metro East, sebenza kwezo ngingqi.
We have 21 designated social workers serving our communities.
Sinontalontle abaphumeleleyo abancedana noluntu lwethu.
I firstly want to thank Parliament for this absolute fantastic opportunity.
Okokuqala mandibulele iParliament ngale nyweba nxaxheba ingaka.
And the effort you put into educate and assist us to come to you. Appreciate it.
Ukuzokusifundisa nokusixhasa size kuni sizofumana ulwazi.
However, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity maybe to address the backlogs in the current amended Children's Act.
Mhlambi lithuba lokugqibela elinye lokuqwalasela imingeni yonke ekhoyo kulomthetho uyilwayo ujongene nemfuno zabantwana.
And although we are very excited about proposed changes, there's also huge uncertainties about why some is not effectively addressed or changed.
Njengoba sibona kukuhle inguqulelo ezenzekayo iyakwasichaphazela nento yokuba kutheni ezinye nezinye inguqulelo zingaqwalaselwa.
I want to start with the definition of an orphan child.
Ndifuna ukuqala ukuchaza umntwana ohlelelekileyo.
And this is
excuse me.
Sorry.
Ingabe ukhona umuntu ongasiviyo isingesi apha bethuna kwenzela basike sime ngotolika ixesha liyasibetha. Khawuthophe tata phansi.
Enkosi.
Continue.
Thank you.
Continue, ma'am.
This is the first portion of discrimination between a parent, where a parent or a child is being recognized as an orphan when a parent dies. I think we need to take that into reconsideration because it leaves out the living parent. Secondly, the most frustrating sectors in the Children's Act we have is the differences between the interpretation of the Children's Act between different organs of state. Firstly, the Department of Justice. Secondly, the Department of Home Affairs in the issuing of birth certificate that is in direct conflict with the Constitution, and it takes you literally years to obtain a birth certificate for children, especially if they are older than 7 years. The third one is I want to conclude with what the previous group said, the rights and responsibilities of parents. We have to reconsider the rights of both parents from the day of conceivement. It is just not acceptable and hugely discriminatory to deny one parent contact with a child even before the birth of a child.
Thank you. It has been said.
Yes.
That one you are repeating it.
The second, just to add on to that, is that it is our opinion that we change the Act to make provision for administrative loopholes. And that comes in with the extension of foster care orders. We need to take serious look into why we have this backlog. Firstly, lack of resources, but also the way in which the Department of Justice and Social Development work jointly to address this issue. And we see it not in the interest of our children to allow any person now, without becoming a foster parent, to apply for a supportive grant. It is another disaster waiting for our children. Madam Chair, we heard people speaking about the abuse of the social grant system, and we are afraid that this will just allow people to further abuse the social grant system. The other section is on the extension of the children's court's jurisdiction. We think it is very important to act about the guardianship so that we can allow actually foster parents to become guardians of children at a much easier way. I just want to come back to the parental rights and responsibilities. Sorry, Madam Chair. We must also guard against the sector becoming the elite to the legal fraternity, because mediation is becoming extremely expensive and most parents cannot afford it. So we need to take that into consideration. And I hear what I say, and I'm saddened to hear that social workers do not act in the best interest of the children. I, for one, is in support that we look into it with continuous awareness and training of social workers. I think, Madam Chair, I'm going to conclude with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you support the bill or?
I cannot, I support the process. If those anomalies is not addressed, I cannot. The other one, Madam Chair, and sorry, that is the most important one, is the exclusion of the ECD sector. Although it's in the amendment bill, we already don't take into account. And I do not support the merging of the Department of Education and ECD facilities. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm going to be strict now.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity to give us a voice. My name is Michael Zijlstra. I'm from Fathers for Justice. I'm a 56-year-old divorced father of 2 children. After 5 years of court battles to stay in my children's lives, and having spent over 2 million rand of my savings and investments defending the rights of my children and myself, I was forced to give up a relocation action where my children were given permission to relocate to a foreign country. During this process of attrition, The SAPS, police force, failed to assist me in enforcing our parent plan, as well as most of the clauses in the parent plan, which were just flaunted and flaunted with no recourse to myself. I was dragged through maintenance court on more than 2 occasions to extract more money out of me beyond my means.
What's your status right now?
Divorced.
And then what is it that is taking place? Is it still through the court or?
No.
Because I would like you
yes.
to refer it to the legal person or to the social workers to assist you in your situation that we are in.
It has been resolved to a large degree.
It has
I'm just giving you an indication of the process and how desperately flawed it is. I'll be very brief. Very brief.
You can
Yes.
you can submit it. Otherwise,
I intend to. Yes.
Fathers for Justice has been at least trying to address that,
Yes.
and we understand. But what makes us to be happy is that at least ultimately it has been resolved. You can do the submission there.
I just would like to say one thing. Your colleague, your colleague Bridget Masangu mentioned in the Free State that while the point of amending the bill is obviously a good idea, it's very difficult if even the current bill in its current form cannot be enforced. I think you have a much bigger problem. Liesel van der Merwe, one of your colleagues, also mentioned fairly emotively, when she was a child of 10 years old, she was forced to sign her father away. This has got to be addressed. This bias, this gender bias against fathers in favor for mothers has got to be resolved. In my case, when the judge said I'm not interested in the 6 psychologist reports or the social worker report or the family advocates report, all of which were in favor of no relocation, the judge took on herself and said she's not interested. She believes the mother is a tree under which children grow. She was not interested in listening to anything else. In my opinion, that is archaic and barbaric. Okay, I'm sure you can get the court transcript to hear that. It's a major problem where judges, magistrates, and other human beings that officiate these proceedings are not adequately educated to understand the effect on children of removing a parent from their lives. You heard it from Liesel. She's now an elderly lady or in her 50s or whatever. When she was 10, that happened. How long is it going to take? Is it going to be our children who are going to still be fighting for these rights? So I do not support the bill in its current form, specifically sections 21 and 30 that do not provide equality for both parents. There is still immense gender bias that has to be resolved.
Of course, thank you very much. Thank you.
Forgive me for not greeting you properly. Time is short, and I believe the rights of children are far more important. My name is Debbie Wybrow. I'm based here in the Western Cape, and I've been privileged to serve children throughout South Africa for the last 30 years. I do not support the bill and its underlying policy. I strongly object to it because it is fatally flawed, it is not constitutional, and it fails in its cited objectives, which are to strengthen child protection and plug the gaps. Neither happens. I do not support the process either. We submitted hundreds of pages of written submissions to the National Assembly's committees. We've submitted a petition of over 56,000 people to Parliament supporting our objections to this bill and its policy. They are not even mentioned in any of the summaries we've heard, and the names Bayakanya and Wybrow Oliver attorneys are not even listed on the submissions at the back of your handout today. You have great power here today. The easy way is going to just be to accept everything and rubber stamp it and head home. It's going to be much harder, but you need to stand up and say, stop. this far and no further. You cannot let this law and policy be passed on your watch. You have to insist on a bill and policy that protects children, that empower them, and that fall in line with our Constitution. What we have to see is the Section 7 best interests of children being properly spelled out. Otherwise, they are open to abuse by different power players with personal agendas. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Best interests of the child first. Everyone else's interests second. Legal policies and principles second to what is best for the child. We must look at the same time on a continuum of care. We must look to local options. We have to see how we can preserve families, how we can reunify children, how we can strengthen local adoption. But we must not close the door on other options intercountry-wise for children with special needs or who have disabilities. Permanency, stability, and security are critical to children. Adoption is better than foster care because it has lifelong benefits for children, and it gives children a sense of belonging, and it gives them legal rights. We've got to strengthen our permanent family options. We've got to recognize intercountry placements because children with special needs cannot be placed in this country, and their interests may well be served by other families elsewhere. Love and nurture is critical to the development of a child, as is that child's developmental time frame. These factors have to be included in Section 7. Expedited decision making is supposed to be imperative for everybody. I can assure you that most do not regard it that way, and delays damage children. We must advocate for a trauma-informed approach because our children are otherwise being violated, abused, neglected, abandoned, and institutionalized. If we do not do any of these, what happens is that decision makers take one or two factors and put those factors first. An example is where a child who needs family care can't access it because the prospective parents may walk, talk, or look a little bit different to them. What are we going to do about the little girl in the Eastern Cape who has her face half bitten off by rats after being abandoned, or whose fingers are missing on one finger?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to continue, please. I mentioned reunification. There are criteria that need to be in place. There are long-term negative effects of institutionalization and abandonment on children, hence the call for baby savers to be legalized. Please read the Hague Convention on Intercountry Adoption. You are not being properly informed. It is being misquoted. Permanency is the best option for children. And then on my last issue, institutional memory. I presented in 2005 in the National Assembly, sections 249 and 250 we refer to as the fees issue.
Ma'am.
They must be upheld.
Thank you, ma'am. You do the submission.
Okay, sorry, I also object to the procedure, including the fact that our time is...
Yes, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good day to you. As we have traveled from KZN to Gauteng, now Cape Town, I just want to say this has been a very, very tiresome and emotional journey. I just want to quickly brief you guys on the psychological effects of our children. Have you ever considered what goes through a child's emotion when you are told that they are not allowed to talk to their father, not to be held and hugged by their father? What goes through the emotions when they are told they are not loved by their father? What does a child feel when she is forced to sleep next to a mother's most recent boyfriend? And when she brings this to her dad's attention with tears in her eye? How uncomfortable is this for her, for the child and for the father? What happens when a child has to remain with her grandparents and when sexually abusing her? Because the father, the biological father, has a fall protection order against him. These are some actual situations happening to our children, of fathers in this room and throughout the country. How does a father help a child? I'm trying to cut it short, ma'am. Growing up without a father can permanently alter the structure of the brain. The effects of growing up without a father: a child is more likely to be aggressive and quick-angered. A child is more likely to be depressed, more likely to have a low self-esteem and perform poorly in school, more likely to turn to substance like drugs, and girls often turn to sex to fill this void. We heard this in the Free State, where many girls under the age of 10 were pregnant. This is absolutely shocking. Silent anger doesn't have a proper release valve. I know of a father that was punched several times by his son.
All right.
On his, ma'am, let me just finish this, please.
All right, please, in conclusion.
Okay. Okay. In conclusion, I would like to say Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela were great people and more great activists fighting for the freedom of their people. We might not have great names nor be famous, but we know we are exceptionally great fathers. And if you all don't hear our cry and take our submission into consideration and amend the bill, then in 20 years' time, we're going to have more problematic children in this country.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Thank you very much. From the father's knife.
Good day, honourable members. My name is Renata Milan. I'm the social work supervisor and manager from Wandisa. We are a child protection organisation and furthermore accredited to facilitate national and international adoptions.
We don't hear you. Can you come closer to the mic?
Sure. Is that better?
Yes, it's better.
I support the submissions made by Baya Kanya Foundation and Wabra Oliver attorneys, but I do not support the bill. Children have the constitutional right to life. Abandonment degenerates the right in that 2 out of 3 children who are unsafely abandoned die. There are more than 3,000 children who are abandoned each month in South Africa. Yet, neither the policy nor the proposed bill places proper focus on this incredibly concerning issue or suggest ways to better protect these children. When it comes to reunification, the principle of reunification drives the narrative, but proper safeguards for children are not included in the proposed bill, which I have seen firsthand cause further family breakdown, child abuse, and at times abandonment. Adoption is a specialized field as it is a lifelong decision that needs to be made based on the best interest of a child. It is therefore critical that adoptions practices are handled by trained, experienced, professional adoption social workers who do not already have overburdened caseloads, lack of resources, lack of supervision, and who are inexperienced in permanency planning. What the policy and proposed bill proposes to do will leave children gravely prejudiced by being deprived of these expertise and the professionals when it comes to lifelong decisions being made on their behalf. As an organisation, Wandisa found it incredibly disheartening that the National Department of Social Development has decided to not re-accredit us for a full 5-year period when it comes to international adoption services, but instead only for a 2-year period. Wandisa is being punished for standing up for children and their right to care and their right to permanency. This is sad enough for any children who we serve, but even more so for those who are significantly disadvantaged physically, mentally, and emotionally. This is a complete travesty of justice and will result in Wandisa not being able to serve hundreds of moderate to severely special needs children who other organizations struggle to find permanent adoptive families for. Furthermore, Wandisa has been admonished for assisting children in other provinces, despite our expertise and involvement clearly being in that child's best interest. It should be noted that we do not believe that the same authority that gives accreditation should be the same one to decide on its accreditation review. In other countries, these authorities are two legally independent entities dealing with these aspects, completely unbiased. Furthermore, as pointed out by your previous chairperson in the National Assembly Portfolio Committee meeting, the current setup raises the issue that there could be an abuse of power, which we as Wandisa has now seen it to be true firsthand. We appeal to you to have these reviewed. I'm specifically referring to clause 124. Let's stand together to prevent a parentless and broken generation for our future children.
In conclusion.
That is my conclusion. I will submit my submissions.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Wandisa. Okay. 1 minute.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be able to present here today. I'll be brief. I'm sure, Madam Chairman, you'll be happy. I do not support the bill. A bill or a law is only as strong as its implementation. The Children's Act is not implemented well at all. I prepared facts and figures, not implemented very well. I prepared facts and figures to demonstrate from my life and my experience as to how this happens. But I'm going to sum it up. Broken families give you broken communities. Broken communities give you broken society. I thank you.
Thank you. You were so sweet. Thank you.
Madam Chair, it's fantastic to see you again. I'll keep it brief. I'm going to sum up for you. Fathers for Justice is looking for 50-50 contact care, guardianship and maintenance. We want the ability of lawyers, advocates, psychologists, social welfare workers, ability to destroy children reduced to absolute zero. Parental alienation must be classified as child abuse. The alienator, along with his or her legal and psychological team, must go to jail. Perjury, the person that lays false claims or fake claims against the other parent, along with his or her lawyer, advocate, psychologist, social welfare worker, please go to jail. We have prepared the submissions, the changes that need to be made so that we can make your work easy. We have asked you to engage us directly. Please do so. I love you all. Please travel safely and please reach out to us. We are here to help you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, you were so sweet. We love you too.
Greetings everyone, my name is Kudine Prince. I'm the founder of...
Come closer to the mic.
I'm the founder of the Umusa Foundation. Our organization deals with youth development in rural areas. One of the concerns I have is that not enough youth development assistance is given to organizations, especially from rural areas. As much as we need to protect the rights of children, children also need to be made aware of their responsibilities as members of schools and society at large. Bullying at schools are increasing. That leads to gender-based violence, teenage pregnancies, and substance abuse. We need to start investing in prevention programs rather than dealing with the problem. It is important that government prioritizes such ethical youth development programs at a primary school level already. The success of the country lies in the hands of the youth. I'm going to cut my speech short. Thank you.
Is your organization registered?
Yes, it has been registered for 6 years now. I have a proposal that I would like to submit. I will speak to the team and submit my proposal.
Oh, you want to submit it
Yes.
to them? Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
But you can also meet the social workers that are relevant here in the Western Cape in particular.
Thank you.
Yeah, just submit and then you can go to them. Are they still there? Can they come and clarify some few things? Department of Social Development, any volunteer? 2 minutes. Abako? No. No. Thank you. Where are other social workers from the department? Call them. They must sit here in the middle. They introduce themselves. People get familiar to them. Positions. Jan. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. My name is Tembekile Kwakwini. I'm the Acting Director of Children and Families within the Western Cape. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Who else? They must come here. We need to see them. And the community would love to see them. Only 2 present.
That's correct.
Okay.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ihsan Williams. I'm a social worker and policy developer at the Department of Social Development, Western Cape Head Office.
Social worker around here. Okay. Where are others?
They're not here, Madam Chair.
They're not here.
The other one has already left to be with you when you gather in is it Beaufort West tomorrow?
Let me share with you that we're really disappointed about that.
Okay.
In all the gatherings, we would love to have the department with us. It assists us when you are around. You get to hear the challenges of the communities so as to note them and make a follow-up. We would love to get an update of what is it that you are doing with what has been raised here. Not now, but we will communicate with you, Director, and then we will get the update because all of them have been noted.
Madam Chair, I can confirm that we've taken note of everything that has been taking place and we have actually started addressing some of the matters that you've referred to us already.
Okay.
Yes.
Batsho ke kanjalo. Bathi umngqusho uvuthiwe vriki. Niyabava bethu. Vriki umngqusho uvuthiwe. Okay, so you don't have anything to say to the community now?
Other than what have been addressed, Madam Chair, I think issues that have been already addressed are around issues of ECD, and which we are, as a department, taking care of them. And I think they are also aware that in the next 3 months, ECD will also go to the Department of Education. But really, in terms of issues of registration, these are matters that we regularly meet with our ECD, and our doors are open for them to come and consult with us every time they need assistance around that.
Which we will advise you also. After that 3 months that you have settled everything, you call something like Mbizo and you inform them of what is it that is happening.
Of course.
We'll get the update. You are here just in Parliament Street. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. You may sit down.
Thank you.
Bantu bakuthi ifikelele ekugqibeleni. Ayayiva. Sifikelele ekugqibeleni ngoku. Sifuna ke mama nawe bhuti ukuba kukho indlela nani nis-update naye wonke umuntu nawe sisi ocinga into yoba ufanele asi-update ngeprogress okanye ngento eyenzekayo from basisuka apha namhlanje. So masiyifumane ke lo ngxelo so that sizokwazi uba sibe siyancedisa. Sithe nazi ii-members of parliament ezihlala apha okungazuba nzima ukuzifumana xa uzifuna uzibhaza uzibethela please call bazawuphendula. Mahlonono akho nto mos today nam I don't see anything ebucayi okanye engathi ingqamene nabantwana ngokwasemthethweni. Otherwise abantu babulele iprocess umthetho bona ibhili le abayamkeli babulele iprocess. So ikhona nje indlela esisabhideke yiyo ile ndaba yeprocess ingeyo bill per se. Thank you ever so much. Whoever is here, your time, your everything, your energy. You came here, nizixelele ukuthi you have to be part and parcel of this gathering. Thank you ever so much, but ningahambi. Don't leave the room. Hlalani njengoba nihleli. Ikhona into esizawunenza yona. Ningacimeli nocimela, nijonge ngolo hlobo. sibulela kakhulu mazenethole enkosi imeeting sidla ngoyivala ke noba kungofefe ichanhliziyo malithatha imic lizokwenza nje ufefe lisicelele nendlela lisibulele nje sonke litenze ufefe sihambe sikhululeke enkosi.
Sorry, siyacela ba siphakame everybody. Yeah. Masicimeleni ke egameni loyise egameni lonyana lomoya ingcwelame Thixo wethu ke kumkani kakumkani naba abantu bakho Thixo wethu kumkani kakumkani ubathole kwimva bangemva abathixo wethu ke kumkani kakumkani waze wabeka umhlaba wase Western Cape ke kumkani kakumkani ibale iqangi lomlilo Thixo wethu ke kumkani kakumkani banqenga semva nangaphambili ke kumkani kakumkani xa bezophinda bezawuthatha uhambo ke kumkani kakumkani hamba nabo Thixo wethu ke kumkani kakumkani bawufika zililili zawo ke kumkani kakumkani abanye eminqubeni yabo ke kumkani kakumkani sokucela ukuthembela senze lifike bafela ngoYesu Kristu yethu amen leyo nto siqinisekana lichaphazela lesonto kubekho uzuko nembeko bonke abakhole bathi amen amen
Amen inendlini bethuna. Amen. Enkosi inhlanganisa ivaliwe.
The world is full of